Yo, what's going on, people? What is up? Happy hump day. Get ready to talk some Falcon and the Winter Soldier. What's going on, Michael Centel? Robert, what's good? Captain Bay, one of our guest hosts today. Get it flipped over here. Let the intro music die out. Hope to give people a little bit more time. But I hope everybody's been having a great week so far. We've had some up and down weather here in Indy. So there's that. I ain't played this track on anywhere lately. This is one of my first YouTube download tracks for my streams. Okay. All right. Got all the announcements out there. All right. Thank you guys for hanging out, joining. We did this for WandaVision. You can hear them in the background now. We'll bring in the special guests, starting with the one you guys already know. The one, the only. Oh, no, that's not right. That's the wrong thing. We bring this back. Boom. There we go. That should be right. That's it. Captain Bay.
Oh, me. Hi, I'm here. Me.
Captain Bay, what's going on, man? How we doing?
Not much, dude. I'm doing good. I literally, right after you muted us, I leaned on my armrest. My armrest of my chair just snapped. So,
that is not good.
Yeah, that's not ideal, but hey, we're starting it off in a fun way here.
That's all right. Just go buy you one of these Secret Lab chairs that I have.
Is that what you have?
Yeah.
A code for me or something? I'm gonna. Oh yeah, I definitely want to get one of those.
And then we also have brought back our comic book movie review guy, Cameron. So Cameron, welcome.
Thanks for having me back.
And I think that I don't know if we got the video audio issue figured out. No, maybe.
He said he did.
Probably not.
Yeah, we did. We did.
Oh, we did.
It's fixed.
We're good.
Yeah, it's fixed.
Awesome.
It's fixed. Good. Guido, what's going on? I'm officially 2 Disney shows behind before I can watch these.
Oh my! There's only Guido. 2 out
there. Guido.
You wait until they're all out, then you binge them all.
Guido, what are you waiting on, man? What are you doing? What are you doing? All right. Well, last time it took us a little over 2 hours. I expected this one's going to break down on this one will take us just slightly as long. And we'll have people in and out, as we always do. I'm waiting for as long as possible to fight Ghost Dog. Something tells me he's watched these and he's telling me he hasn't, just so that he can say, oh, I can't be here for this. What's going on, Sam? Welcome. It has been a humid day today. Nice and sticky.
Where do you live again?
Indianapolis, Indiana.
Yeah, I don't really I don't really have much of the humid to deal with in California.
Yeah. Humidity is our life.
Yeah.
Around this time of the year. So, all right. I don't really have much to do in game. I mean, I do, but nothing that would require me to focus on it and focus on the conversation. So, I'm going to start off with this is our. I can say with 100% certainty that I have not watched them. Is it really in spite of me, Guido, or is it more about your school schedule? Which one is it for real? Is it really because you want me to say, come on, man, watch this? I can't say I haven't watched yet, but I wanted to stop in by and say what's up. Well, Sam, thank you very much. What are you guys waiting on? What are you guys waiting on? This was I thought this was even better than WandaVision overall. And if you guys want to stick around, don't care about hearing spoilers, and stick around. But please enjoy. All right, so I'll start with you, Captain Bay. Just without going too much in detail, because Rob we're going to do a breakdown. What was your initial thought?
So initially, I think like it felt very much like we were getting back into like a regular kind of MCU style of thing, because WandaVision totally just threw us for a loop and was just like, what is this Marvel? Like it was just so confusing, but at the same time, it was also fantastic once it all was explained and it made sense. Where this is just you get right into it and you're like, okay, yeah, I'm watching something Marvel. I love that. And I just thought the story arcs for all the characters, like Zemo was probably my favorite character. I loved it. He was so good. And I hope we're going to be getting more of him in the future. But overall, I really liked it. It's hard for me to compare the two. Like they were both so good in terms of like this and WandaVision, which one I liked more. Because they're just so different storytelling wise. But they were both so good, and I was very happy with how it went. Couple things here and there which we'll talk about, I'm sure, but yeah, I liked it.
Great. And Cameron, I know you give reviews every week as it dropped, but what was your initial thought?
For the most part, a lot of the same sentiments that Captain Bay said. I enjoyed it for the most part. I think that there were some very interesting talks. Something that it dove deep into some issues. It didn't dive like, scuba style deep or submarine style deep, but it went below the surface, and I appreciated that for what it was. But as far as a Marvel standpoint goes, this is definitely one of those things where it has something for fanboys. It has something for people who like action. It has something for people who like to see moral dilemmas between two different parties and can see the good on both sides. It has something for a lot of people, and even though they're mostly hits, there were some issues that I had with it. So it's not a perfect show, but it's definitely worth watching.
Definitely. Again, I really iterate the same thing. I really felt like this was more Marvel movie style than Marvel TV style, like WandaVision was. Where WandaVision kind of gave you some other stuff. This one kind of went more in detail about just don't kill him, I'm dead. I might be dead. I might be dead. We'll see. Oh, good. His resistance.
Dude was pretty tanky. Yeah. Didn't even get
but anyway, so I actually, when I asked people, like, I knew people who liked Marvel, and I asked them, have you watched it? And I was like, it's another one of those Disney shows. I'm more of the movie guy. I'm like, all right, so then watch this one, because this is definitely going to feel more like Marvel movies than Marvel TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything about it, even from the moment the show opened up until pretty much it closed out, it felt like a Marvel movie.
Yeah, I agree with that. You're just thrown into right into the action and everything.
Yeah, right into the action from the first episode, and then they built into the storyline, which we'll actually, let's just get into and talk about. So let's talk about episode 1. Episode 1, Cameron, do you remember the name of episode 1?
The name of episode 1 was New World Order.
Yes.
And
go ahead.
Well, go ahead. You just asked me what was the name of it.
No. So we got into the New World Order thing, and it basically went to where it opened up with Sam, aka Falcon, basically on a mission. A mission where probably other soldiers couldn't be in, but because of what he does, his specialty, it helps him work with the Air Force or the military in general to acquire somebody who had been taken that they wanted back, without crossing into airspace that they weren't allowed to cross into.
Correct.
It's kind of interesting to see that he's back working with the military basically after the whole Endgame and everything and the whole Sokovia Accords when he was on the opposite side of it, and now he's back, full force working for him, it seemed like.
Yep.
He had to do something. It was like 6 months, I believe, since that had happened. I believe that's what
it was 6 months after the blip.
So basically 6 to 5 months after WandaVision, but also this happens technically before Spider-Man Far From Home, right?
Yes.
Far From Home was 8 months after.
8 months after. Far From Home was 8 months after. WandaVision was what, weeks after? Like
WandaVision was
like 10 days. It was like 10 days, something like that after.
So a little out of order, but hey.
And I think there's some. Well, never mind. I was going to say I think that Black Widow happens even before then, but Black Widow happens right after Civil War, if I remember right. So we're totally getting things out of order.
Yeah, because they were supposed to drop Black Widow, and then Falcon and the Winter Soldier,
and then WandaVision, I think.
Then Loki. Then WandaVision.
Loki was going to be before WandaVision.
Yeah,
it's weird how all that ended up happening.
WandaVision was supposed to be the last.
Yeah, it's weird that WandaVision ended up being the first one then.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
So let's talk about
they just really wanted to show us that bop Agatha all along.
Yeah,
they were like ready.
Like
this
is where the money's at, guys. We need to put this out there.
I also think with them having to rewrite these episodes, which we kind of talked about prior to jumping on live stream, that I think that had somewhat of an effect on what order these shows came out in.
Yeah,
I kind of understand why they pushed back Black Widow. That had nothing to do with anything else than the simple fact that it was they wanted to release it in movie theaters so they could try to make their money back.
They'd get more money that way. So episode 1, we pretty much got the introduction, of the Flag Smashers. We separately get introduced to Bucky and Falcon separately out doing their own thing.
Yep.
I really liked the whole Bucky and therapy session. That was good. And then going through the 5 steps or whatever they were.
Yeah.
It was 3 rules.
3 rules?
I believe.
Yeah. Not 5.
So the first rule, he had to not break the law. He had to do everything within the law. The second rule was no violence.
Nobody gets hurt.
And then the third rule, he had to say, he's not the Winter Soldier anymore. He is, John Buchanan Barnes, and I'm here to make amends. Those were the 3 rules, which he would always say that he was following those rules, but according to what we watched, he flubbed a little bit.
Yeah. People didn't get hurt too severely.
Nobody got killed.
Yeah, nobody got killed. I mean,
nobody got killed.
Really, the fine print says nobody gets killed, I'm pretty sure. So I think he's good.
But Bucky is trying to go through a growing process, trying to get all of the Winter Soldier residue out of his whole system, and that the therapy was also part of a court-ordered mandate after everything had happened. So he had to go to this. Wasn't something that was optional. It was part of the details of his release from his work with Hydra.
Right. Hi, Me Green. What's going on, man? So definitely. I'm trying to remember. Oh, so then also Sam went through a process mentally, which kind of really is pretty much the whole storyline. But it started with this particular moment where he was going to go give the shield back, or give the shield not back, but give the shield to the museum for Captain America, because he just felt like he wasn't the one to. The shield was a symbol, and sometimes the symbols outweigh. I forgot how you put it. The symbols
he
are.
He was afraid that it would. He wouldn't be accepted
Right. He wouldn't be accepted, nor did he feel like he was the right person to carry that shield from the person who had it prior.
Yeah.
It should be in the museum for people to admire the symbol.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what led Bucky to find.
Yeah, because Bucky's.
Was that episode 2?
I forgot I broke this. I almost just leaned on my arm.
Yeah. I do believe that was episode 2.
Yeah, that was the start of episode 2. But so episode 1, he gave his shield to the museum, so he thought.
Yeah.
He.
And then he went on to start tracking the group called the Flag Smashers to try to help out the military.
There was a good talk that because it was a smaller cameo, but Don Cheadle is in episode 1 as Rhodey. He never suits up, but after Sam gives the shield back, Rhodey kind of had this look. It's like, I don't know if that was the right idea. It's like, you hung out with him more than I did, but is this what Steve would have wanted? Kind of like that sort of thing. And I like that interaction because that's, and this is kind of inside information, but Rhodey and Sam can have those difficult conversations that maybe Sam and Bucky couldn't have, because Rhodey understands some things about how the world works and some intricacies, and I liked that. I wish there was a little bit more of it, but I was happy with what I got.
Yeah, I think the story overall kind of worked and talked about it in full. Bits and pieces. I wish it would have talked about it a little bit more. But I think they did it. They did cover it overall, bits and pieces.
Yeah, they got the point across, kind of, but it could have gone more in detail.
Yeah.
So there's a character we haven't mentioned yet who is, I think he's in all the episodes, if not all of them, most of them, and that's Torres. Torres was he was part of the mission. He was the man on the ground when they were rescuing the Air Force lieutenant that was kidnapped. And throughout the series, Torres is kind of like Sam's intel person. It's like if something's going on, especially when it dealt with the Flag Smashers, Torres would give him that inside scoop so that he could make some information.
When initially brought them up, talked about them, saying, "Hey, there's this group that's going," and then he goes to that private that when they're first breaking into the bank and all that, and first introduction was him showing them to us. Be like, "Yo, these guys, this isn't a good situation."
No, because I don't think they had any clue that they were super soldiers or took super soldier serum, because he definitely went in kind of guns a-blazing on his own.
Yeah, not knowing, and then all of a sudden he gets kicked across the street, and he's like, "What just happened?"
Yeah, what just happened?
He got bodied, and he was like, "I don't know, like these dudes are strong, like stronger than they should be. So, you might want to be careful if you come up with them." And
what happens to people when they come across me? Am I right?
Yeah, I'm sure, Captain.
Yeah, the intimidating figure that I am. Those of you who have met me at Comic-Con are just like, is he serious? Like, the dude's like 5 foot nothing. I'm taller than Seaton, guys.
That's like saying you're taller than like
grass? Yeah,
a pygmy. Seaton is a small man.
He is.
So, we are definitely introduced to quite a few characters here. Another character we're introduced to was Sarah. I believe that's her name, and that is Sam's sister. And
Bucky's soon-to-be girlfriend. I mean,
Hey,
sorry, that's too far ahead.
hey.
We're too far ahead. That's too far ahead.
look, wait a minute. He's invited to the barbecue, but we're not going to go there
We ain't that
just
far
yet.
yet. We ain't that far
We're
yet.
not that far yet. We've got a couple things to talk about. So Sarah was one of the people who remained during the blip, and so she and her sons had to kind of survive during this whole 5-year period. And in order to keep things afloat, because they had a boat and they had a house, and she had to take out loans to keep things going with the boat, and she had to borrow against the house. So now everybody's back, and she's about to lose the boat, which means she's about to lose the house. So here comes Big Bro. Sam's coming back. He goes back to Louisiana trying to help take care of things. They go to the bank, and this is such a moment because the loan, I think it was the loan manager, is at the bank. It's like, don't I know you from somewhere? And Sam's like, yeah.
And then he goes like this or something.
Yeah, he goes like this.
Falcon.
He immediately takes a selfie. He doesn't ask, which is a huge faux pas. And then proceeds to say, well, the climate being what it is, I just can't approve this loan. I'm sorry. And I'm like, are you really sorry? It was like, you just said, I know you. You're famous. No, you can't have money.
Picture with them.
Not only did he not ask for the first picture, then he asked him to pose for a second after he just said no to the loan. Like, are they really that low? Do they hang that low?
Read the situation there, bud. When the girl says no, walk away.
But yeah, so there was that, and that, I guess they kind of touched a little bit on some of those issues as well as, where's your income for the last, couple years, things like that.
Yeah.
It's like
Kind of Stark
fund and things like that, and then Sam had kind of promised his sister, like, yeah, I'll go down there and we'll make it right, and then he had egg on his face when it wasn't, when he wasn't able to make that happen because the banks weren't trying to fool with him, regardless of who he was.
The other thing that happened in episode 1 too was with Bucky, we get introduced to the Nakajima guy that he was friends with at the start. You're like, oh, okay, who's this guy? And then you get the flashback scene of him, or I don't remember if the flashback scene happened first.
The flashback scene happened first.
I think it did, yeah. So where Bucky is back full Winter
Soldier. He was having a dream.
And he was on
a nightmare.
The mission of, he had to kill someone, and we see him kill this innocent bystander that's just literally just trying to get out of the way. And then I don't know about you guys, but I picked up pretty quickly. Like once he started hanging out with that guy, and he started talking about his son was dead. I'm like, oh, that was probably his son, and he's trying to do the whole make amends thing going on. And so that was
that pretty quick. Yeah, myself.
And you hear the Winter Soldier theme start to come up, and that's when I was like, oh no, that's unfortunate. And then we get the callback at the end of the season when he finally talks to him.
Yeah.
And then Mr.
Nakajima tries to set him up with the girl.
Yeah,
he doesn't try. He succeeds.
No, he does. He wings. He's the ultimate wingman there, man.
He was the ultimate wingman there.
Nakajima, man, he's a modern day Mr. Miyagi.
He's a Cyrano. He's like, just leave the words to me. You show up. I got you.
Yeah.
Which of course the date kind of tanks, but it's kind of Bucky's fault. Like she was talking about how Yuri's son, he doesn't know what happened to his son, and he's he mourns about it, and how that. And she was just saying every single thing that hit all of the sore spots on Bucky.
Yeah, she even said like, I'm trying to read your mind, and he's like, please don't.
Please don't. please don't.
He's like,
did she ask him how old he is? And he says 106.
He's just
106.
Yeah, that part too. Yeah.
Like, she laughs at it because she doesn't know who he really is.
Yeah.
And then if you guys notice that Bucky always kept gloves on and always kept his sleeves long.
Yep.
It poor circulation. That's what he said. I believe him. Don't you?
I mean, yeah. No. Why not?
I mean, do you get circulation in a vibranium arm?
I mean, why would he lie? He told her how old he was. Why would he lie? I tried. I tried to keep a straight face through all that.
Yeah, I was cracking up. And that's the thing I like too with this show. Like, it definitely had its funny the whole interaction with Bucky and Sam. I thought those two characters and the actors, they worked really well together, and comedically they were on point. Like, jumping ahead a tiny bit, but the scene where they're getting attacked by the Dora Milaje, and you're like, "You're doing great, John." Like, just like little lines like that. Like, I loved those ones. They were so funny, and they were all throughout the season.
So through that part of episode 1, Sam is, I don't know if it was breakfast or lunch, or he was in his kitchen at his parents' home, back with his sister, and she walks in and is like, "Sam, cut on the news. You got to see this."
Yep, and that's like, oh snap.
And we then get introduced to John
Walker.
John Walker, thank you. Get introduced to John Walker, a.k.a. Walmart Cap.
Walmart, great value Cap. That's
Great
right.
value Cap, yes. Great value Cap.
Generic brand Cap.
Yeah, so they introduce him as the new Captain America, give him the shield that Sam had turned in as a symbol, and not to be used for any other use. But of course, the government wanted their own Captain America.
Do government things of just doing whatever they want.
Right. Now, as myself, I have my own thoughts and feeling about that, but I'll let you start, Captain. What were your thoughts behind that? I think I just killed you guys. Let me go back.
I think it was definitely just more of like a kind of what Sam was worried about, that like the whole kind of race thing. He was afraid that he wouldn't be accepted as the role, and the government kind of just played into it, and they wanted to keep the Captain America brand how it was, and they didn't want to change it, and that's what. Then Sam's just like, they really did it, and yeah, he was just regretting it instantly and wishing he hadn't done it, and yeah, I forgot what else I was gonna say, but
in Kale, I know I've heard your thoughts about it.
So I think that from a viewer standpoint, for somebody who's been watching all the movies and things like that, he was set up for us not to like him from Jump Street.
John Walker.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like from the very beginning. So the chips are stacked against him. So
he
if you ask
showed
anybody,
up episode 1, as he just didn't say anything. He's on there. There's already memes out there like, "Not my Captain America. I hate this guy.
not my Cap.
Sucks."
Yeah.
So for us to form an opinion, it's seriously based on like one frame. I mean, like I could say one scene, but he doesn't say anything. He just kind of
basically
walks down
kind of
waves.
waves.
That was it.
First off,
in waves.
he just looked weird inside the Captain America helmet.
I saw a lot of memes that he looked like the old guy from Up.
Yeah, I've seen those too.
He definitely. Once I saw that, I couldn't unsee it. I was like, "Yep, it's the dude from Up. That's what it is."
So we were upset. Sam was upset, but more importantly, or maybe most of all, Bucky was upset.
Bucky was furious. Bucky was furious for a different reason. Bucky was so mad, he actually answered Sam's calls now because the therapist was like, "Sam's been texting you haven't been responding." He was like, "Oh, I got something to say now." And with his probably old janky phone, he was like pressing 7 4 times. He probably had an old Nokia because he's a man out of time. He's like, if he's texting you, he's real mad. He's big mad if he's texting you.
Yeah.
Oh, we talked about Bucky's therapist? I know we talked about him going to therapy.
Yeah, a little bit.
We didn't
talk, she was a terrible therapist. She was bad.
She was.
Like, I understand that she used to be a soldier, and so she's like giving that tough love to people who have been in the service and everything like that. But like something just, it seems like there were some professional courtesies that she was completely skipping over, like that she wasn't doing. Now, I'm not a doctor, so I could be completely wrong.
Yeah.
But I was just like, when like Bucky even called her out like twice. He was like, "You're a terrible therapist," and she continued to take out her pen and write down. It's like completely ignored. It's like, oh, okay.
Like, oh, I'm a terrible therapist.
He's like,
that's cool. Guess what? You still have to do this as a court mandate. It's part of your release.
He's like, that notepad is so passive aggressive. And she's just like, you damn right.
Good point.
Oh, man. So that's episode 1. So let's move into episode 2. Episode 2, does it open up with Bucky locating Sam?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I think pretty much. Yeah, he
Like,
just showed up in the hangar.
Again,
Oh no! It had the whole John Walker scene at the.
oh, that's right. It started.
Oh
off
yeah,
with
in the
Good
locker
Morning
room
America.
with the
Yes.
HBCU band.
Yeah.
I had mixed feelings about
Yeah, it was
that.
like a Captain America theme and
I'll be
everything.
honest.
It's just like, no. I mean,
Like, I wanted to get
I
hyped,
liked it,
but it's to John
Yeah.
Walker. Like, why y'all do?
Yeah.
That's. I really don't know why I felt the way I felt. It was. It's hard to explain.
and he had to see
But I was
with his buddy. What was his name?
Lamar.
Lamar.
And he was telling him how he's like, this is such an honor, and I feel like I'm actually gonna have a purpose. I get to do something right for the first time, and this is the first time we get like the hint that like the stuff they did in the military back in the day might not have been very good, even though it was their mission, but they didn't do it 100% like legal or whatever. Because he's like, you can't just punch your way out of problems anymore. And then we get a callback to that later on when he's asking him in a later episode where he's like, would you take the serum? And then they kind of, in that whole scene, they're talking about it again there. So at that point, it was kind of just like, yeah, there's definitely setting up this character to not be liked because he's clearly at that. I just feel like that was one of the things that I had the biggest problem with the show was like compared to WandaVision, this show felt very predictable most of the time. Like if I were to go back and look through my videos and everything, there were a lot of things that I was like, oh, this is going to happen and this is going to happen. And then
there were a lot of things I thought were a little bit more telltale. But I think that's what made it better for this particular show.
Yeah.
First off, I'm Mick Green. Welcome back. It says, hi, Captain Bay.
Oh, what's up?
He loves the series. He
Glad
loves
you do.
the series. Yeah.
But yeah, that was one of the
He
things.
says, I hate John Walker. What's his problem? You and a lot of other people.
Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. So then the whole John Walker at his old high school, they're introducing him, just trying to make you like him. Be like, he's done all these. He's got these 3 medals of honor, I think it was, and they show the whole montage of him throwing around the shield, and like clearly he's good with the shield. He knows what he's doing. And that was pre Super Soldier Serum and everything. He was winging that thing pretty hard.
Yeah. I was kind of surprised. I was like,
I
really?
was too.
I thought at that point, I was like, oh, maybe he already does have some kind of serum.
That's what I thought. I thought he had it too by the end, but
It wasn't. And then that was when I realized, I'm like, okay, well, he's for sure going to get the serum at some point. I thought either he was going to be secretly working with the Flag Smashers and that somehow he might have ended up being the power broker or something like that. Or what happened was that he tracked them down and ended up getting the last one himself. So
yeah. So Bucky and Sam go on a mission, and
Bucky's
they fly.
mad.
Bucky's super mad. Like, how could you give up the shield? You never should have did this. And I mean, he's like super mad.
yeah.
Yeah, they go on a mission. Even Sam is like, "No, you're not coming with me." But he does go, and when they go on this mission, it's kind of funny watching Bucky fall out of the plane. because they were too low.
He said he
for him
asked
to
where
use
the
a
parachute was, and they tell him it was too low.
That whole scene was just called back to Iron Man and Captain America, who both jump out of the plane, and then Sam's just like, oh no, he's like, oh, I'll be fine, I'll just jump out.
I felt like it was more of a callback to Captain America and the Winter Soldier at the very beginning during the stealth mission, where Cap jumps out of the plane, and so he asked, "Did he have a parachute?" And it was the guy who eventually turned into Crossbones Rimlow. He's like, "No, he did not."
Yeah,
and that was definitely So they go on that mission trying to track down the Flag Smashers, who they don't really know who's leading them at this point.
And they don't know anything. I guess they didn't know about that time they had super soldier serum, right? Because
they didn't know.
Torres had told them like they were really strong. Like I don't know what's going on with them, but that was kind of about it.
Sam said it's got to be one of the big three: aliens, androids, or wizards.
That's not a thing.
To which, Bucky was like, "There's no such thing as a wizard."
It's definitely a thing.
This was Doctor Strange.
Steph Curry popped out. Yep, he said, "Explain Doctor Strange." He's like, he's a sorcerer. A sorcerer is a wizard without a hat.
It makes you wonder, like, how much does the world know about what happened with WandaVision still? Because if wizards are part of the big three, I feel like, they got to at least know somewhat, maybe, what happened.
Were there any aliens in WandaVision? Because they definitely had androids, and it had wizards.
Shows up at the end.
And Skrulls.
So the Skrulls, it had all three. It had aliens, androids, and
that
wizards.
show was literally the big three.
Literally the big three. Which is, I think that was a callback to that show, or was a call to that show because, again, that show was supposed to come out after.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Although the events of it came beforehand, I don't know. The timelines are just so weird for it.
Yeah.
You got to have a doctorate in MCUology.
We're really testing
in order to keep everything straight.
We're nerds.
Yeah.
Making sure we're on our toes. So yeah, then they get in the fight with the Flag Smashers once Bucky gets up from falling, and they're fighting with them. And
they go track him down at a warehouse, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. They track him at the warehouse first. Yeah, and then he I'm the White Wolf. That whole thing. He's like, hold on, what?
He said, "You White Panther now?" He's like, "Actually, it's White Wolf." What? That's the first time Sam found out that Bucky is invited to the barbecue. He finds out later, but that's the first hint.
That was one of the first hints.
So yeah, they're tracking down what's going on, and they actually get pegged. So they put Carly, who's actually the leader of the Flag Smashers, in one of the trucks and made her look like she's a hostage.
Right.
To which Bucky falls directly into that trap.
My favorite part of the whole fight scene was Sam saying, "That little girl kicked your ass."
I mean, she kind of kicked everybody's. Yeah. So that fight was kind of interesting. It wasn't exactly going everybody's way, or it wasn't going Sam and Bucky's way, until Great Value Cap shows up uninvited, which he does a lot in this entire series.
A lot.
Like a lot.
And every time too, whenever he showed up, which was another thing that showed the whole thing with John Walker. So like they did try to make you sympathize with the character a couple times, because I think at the start, like I said earlier, when he was saying that he feels like for the first time he has a chance to actually like make a difference, kind of thing, that he went into it with good intentions. His whole values and everything just got twisted once Lamar got killed and all that kind of stuff.
Well, even before that, because when he took the serum, he shouldn't have.
Yeah, true. And then, but so like every time he would show up and be introducing himself to people, he would always introduce him as, he'd be like, "Hi, John Walker, Captain America. John Walker, Captain America." He always had to mention that at the end, like, "By the way, yeah, I'm Captain America." It's just like, for like, accept me, like, I'm Captain America. Like, you think about it, Steve Rogers, I don't think he ever once referred to himself as
Captain. Yeah, Captain. He was trying to prove to himself that he is Captain America.
Yeah, he's trying to prove to himself and everyone around him the whole time. I felt like, and then he always just says it in a way, just like, "Yeah, I'm Captain America. Yeah, like me."
Steve never did that, even in the heat of battle.
No, yeah, he said it was brute.
He's like, I am Steve Rogers.
I am Steve Rogers. Yeah.
But so he and Lamar show up, which this was the first episode where Lamar referred to himself as Battlestar.
Mm-hmm.
And he's kind of like dangling out of helicopters and stuff. Like we don't get enough Lamar in this series, and there's a very good reason why, which we'll get to. But yeah, things don't go well for the good guys, or even the good guys that we don't like particularly much, as the Flag Smashers get away with what Bucky says are vaccines. So yeah, Sam and Bucky are walking.
That was taken out, probably.
You think so? You know what? That sounds about right.
It said it was vaccines, but that was definitely part of the plot line.
Yeah, and that's also where part of the whole motive behind the Flag Smashers and the lady, the Mama Danya or whatever her name is, that maybe she had died from this disease or whatever it was, and that's why they were getting these vaccines and everything to try to help save more people. That's my theory, at least.
Hey, what's going on, Silver? I'm Green talked about Bucky saying, I have a vibranium arm. Sam said, so I can fly. I don't remember that part.
That was when they were first walking into the hangar, and they were going to... Bucky just wanted to rush at him when they were loading up the truck, and then Sam's like, no, we got to be smart about this. And he's like, there's only like one guy. And then Sam's like, look again. And then there's
look again, that's right.
It's like, there's two guys. It's like, oh, there's two guys? Let's see what Red Wing sees. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, there's 5. Oh, there's 6. Oh, look, I counted 7. It's like, you can't just go up in there, Buck.
Guns a-blazing.
You can't call me Buck. Why not? That's what Steve called me.
That's what Steve called you.
And he knew me better than you.
Yeah.
So then, there's that walk after the, kind of defeat where they figure out, okay, I think we're dealing with more super soldiers here, Bucky. Like, what gives? I thought that, that serum was long gone. It was, it was Steve and it was you, and that was it. And, as they're having this talk, here comes Great Value Cap trying to roll up in his Jeep. He's like, come on, take a ride. Bucky's like, I don't want your ride. I don't know you. I don't want your candy.
You're not my Cap.
Like, yeah, you're not my Cap.
No, Cap, you're not my Cap.
So they try to have a talk, and Walker's trying to get them to work with him. And I mean,
another part where I feel like he was trying to do the right thing, and he's just telling them, like, hey, look.
He messed up at the end, though. He almost had Sam.
Yeah, and then he even says at one point, he's like, I'm not trying to replace Steve. I know I can't, like, I'll never be him, but I'm gonna do my best and everything. And then that's when he's like, it'd really be great if I could have Steve's wingman on my side. And he's like, well,
that's where he messed up.
That's always the last line.
The last thing, because Bucky or Sam and Steve, they saw each other as equals, not like, oh, you're my sidekick, basically.
No. He never looked at Sam as a sidekick. It was always like equal partner. And that's one of the things that made Steve Rogers great.
This Juggernaut is giving me problems, y'all.
I know. I'm watching it. I see that.
Sorry,
like,
I'm about to deal with him.
You put at least one super in him, and he's still working.
Yeah,
you finally got him.
Are you in Realm of Legends right now?
Hey, Counselor Mine, what's going on? Man, he's giving me issues.
I like my placement too, because it's looking like I'm looking directly at the. I'm like, what's going on over there?
If I look this way, that looks like I'm looking at it, right?
Yeah, exactly. You guys are right here and right here, according to me.
You got it.
All right. So where were we at? Okay, so they take the walk back. He messes up by saying and I could really use Steve's or Captain America's right hand wingman or right wing, whatever he said.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's not it. That it was just one sentence too much. One sentence too much. Is that how episode 2 ended?
No.
Then
We still got some more.
Yeah, Sam and Bucky get on the plane, and that's when Bucky's like, "We got to take the shield back."
Yeah, it's like we got to get the shield back. That's
like,
right.
How are we gonna do that? How are we gonna do that? Then that's when Bucky's like, "There's someone you need to meet."
Mm-hmm.
Then we get ourselves Bradley.
Yes.
We go to Baltimore, Maryland, and that's when they're walking down the street, and the kid is like, "Hey, you're Black Falcon."
Okay.
He's like, "What do you mean? No, I'm just Falcon. I'm not Black Falcon. My daddy says you're Black Falcon."
Black Falcon.
Well, does your daddy call you Black Kid?
I really wanted him in the credits, that kid, to be labeled as Black Kid, but he wasn't.
I think Marvel would have taken that joke once. Is always the last sentence. I think that would have been
probably right.
But they go up to this house, and they knock on the door, and Eli Bradley answers the door, saying, "There's no Isaiah here. Y'all are at the wrong house." But eventually, Bucky says, "Tell him that the guy from the bar back, in Vietnam is here to see him."
Yeah.
And so they finally meet Isaiah Bradley, who is played by Carl Lumbly, if I remember correctly, who is this is not his first superhero foray. He was the voice of Martian Manhunter in the Justice League series from the early 2000s. So I thought that was kind of cool.
He also was in Supergirl. He played Martian Manhunter's dad.
I didn't know that. I mean,
Really?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I didn't know about the other one, so that makes sense that they brought him back to play that then.
There we go. Yeah. He definitely has some strong DC ties. But this is his first appearance in a Marvel series. And this is when we find out that the super soldier serum did not die with Steve, nor was it paused with Bucky, but that they experimented on more soldiers. In this case, Black soldiers. And they were not treated in the same reverence as Steve Rogers was. Even though Steve went in the ice, he was never imprisoned. He was never treated less than by the United States government, whereas Isaiah Bradley was locked up for 30 years.
For 30 years. And they basically just ran tests on him.
Yeah. They were trying to figure out why you got these powers, because they tested multiple people who, either immediately, died right afterward or didn't get powers and it just didn't affect them. So they were trying to figure out why Isaiah Bradley, what was so special about him and the dosage that he took that he got these powers. Because, of course, if a government can make, a soldier stronger, faster, better, of course they'll do that. They just have to make sure that it works. And they would, based on the history of the United States, take Black men to do that. Like, that makes perfect sense. And it's
that's how they did it back then.
It's a storyline ripped straight from not only history, but also the comics, because that's something that was from comic books in the, I believe, mid to late 2000s, in a story called Truth, where it tells about the first Captain America. This is where this storyline is taken from, where before they gave Steve Rogers the serum, they wanted to test it out. And in the same vein as the Tuskegee experiment, they tested it out on Black people first. And then whenever they figured out what worked right, that's when they tested it on the white kid. And yes, it's extremely racist, but that is an American pastime. I hate to say that, but America's history has a very thick racist vein. So that's where the story of Isaiah Bradley comes from. And even though it wasn't mentioned or it wasn't even alluded to, that's where the story of Eli Bradley will continue, even though, like I said, we didn't get that in this series. there's a future for Eli Bradley down the line.
For the
But
Young Avengers, right? Isn't it?
Young Avengers, yeah.
But to get back on track,
Yeah.
the meeting doesn't go very well. Isaiah is very bitter about the world. Can't say that you blame him.
I was gonna say, I think rightfully so.
Yeah. He said, they stole 30 years of my life. I had to, they had to kill me for me to actually be free. Yep. And so he's like, get out of my house. And he essentially
he threw that tin can through a wall.
Yeah.
Sam basically saw that, was just like, hold up, what? Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. Like, Sam went from, I'm not sure what's going on, to, oh, we got to get out of this house. He's like, I've seen this movie. We got to get out of this house. I saw Don't Breathe. We got to go. Like, there's somebody chained up in the basement. We got to leave.
Yeah. So then when they leave, we get the cop scene where Bucky and Sam are arguing in the street, and the cops show up, and naturally they just assume that the white guy's being harassed.
In the street with, the white guy's being harassed by the black guy.
So they're asking Sam like, "Hey, well, show us your ID." And he's like, "Are you kidding me? Like, come on, why do I gotta show my ID? Like, this, we don't need to do this. Like, we're fine." And even Bucky's like, "Yeah, we're cool. We're not doing anything. Like, we're fine." And they're just like, "No, you need to." And then Bucky's like, "Fine."
They go to Bucky like, "Sir, is this man bothering you?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Sir, is this man bothering you?" He's like, "No, he's not bothering me."
Yeah.
He's like, "What's wrong with you people?" And then that's when they were like, the one cop goes to the other one. He's like, they're Avengers. And he looks,
yeah.
It's like Chris Tucker getting pulled over. It's like, don't you know who I am? Damn.
Completely not like really the same thing, but I just saw I saw a meme that where this girl who worked at a restaurant, the customer came in and wanted to get seated, but it was like going to be a 30-minute wait, so they left. And it was this TikTok video, and she's showing it. She's like, when Adam Sandler comes to your restaurant, you don't realize it's him. And it was Adam Sandler that showed up and wanted to eat there, and she just turned him away because he just decided to leave. And she was like, I didn't even know it was him. It's like, that would suck if you met someone like that but didn't realize you met him.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna address one comment in the chat. Silver, I did not steal your Doom. Okay, carry on.
I stole it. Actually, I don't know. Who had theirs first?
You got yours first, technically. I didn't release my video to the day.
Oh, you go. Oh,
I pulled it Saturday.
Saturday?
Yeah.
Nice. I haven't actually.
But I had to do a lot to get that Doom.
Yeah. Sometimes that's what it takes, you know? Yeah, I was pretty happy with my spring cleaning stuff that I got this weekend, so.
Hey.
I didn't actually spend that much, thankfully. Then we get the whole therapy session with Bucky and Sam because they have to take Bucky in because they're like, hey, actually, there's a warrant for your arrest because you missed your therapy session.
Right.
So they take him in, and then John Walker bails him out, and he's just like, I can do that because I'm me. Yeah, like I can just do that. I'm the government. But then she's like, okay, well, we need to have one more final talk, and then she just sits them down, and that whole scene was hysterical. Like,
how they sat real close next to each other,
real close, and just everything.
And then they just had a staring contest.
Yeah, you guys having a staring contest? Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Bucky drops the news that
why
Steve gave you that shield, and if he was wrong about you, then maybe he was wrong about me. Maybe I'm not worth redeeming, and maybe this is all just a waste of time if he was wrong about you. He was basing his self-worth on Sam's decision.
Yeah, and that hits you right in the feels. You're like, oh, it makes sense now why he's so mad. Okay.
That is exactly why he was upset.
Yeah. And then that's when Sam's like, maybe you don't understand this, but I did what I thought was right. So.
That Colossus is beasting.
Colossus? Believe it or not, Colossus used to be one of the worst characters in the game, but he got a buff
about a year ago or so.
About a year ago, right? Last summer or something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
And became one of the best now. So He's one of the absolute best mutants in the game. And I just pulled him as a 6-star a few days ago, so I was really excited about that. More excited about the Archangel that I got, though.
Okay. I'm trying to think. There is one more thing. We haven't talked about. There's 2 more scenes left in this episode, if I remember right.
Yeah.
One has to do with the Flag Smashers,
Mm-hmm.
and that's around the time, close to this time, we figure out that Carly's the leader, but they're trying to get medicine on a plane, and the power broker has contacted them and saying, you stole my stuff, I'm going to kill you.
I'm going to kill you. Yeah.
And the power broker sends some men out to get Carly and the Flag Smashers, and one of them sacrifices himself so that the rest of them can get away.
Yeah.
So they're starting to lose a few people in their ranks. I think at this point they're down to 7. But this is the first time that we hear about the power broker.
Yeah.
Right.
We have
Except for in the
no
in-scene
clue
credits.
who they are.
Except for in the in-scene credits.
True. Yeah, I think there was some on the walls or something there.
Yeah, on the walls, the power brokers watching.
Got you. I never paid attention to that. I was always listening to the do-doom, doom, do-doom, doom, that music. It was pretty good.
Just realized I don't have any persistent chargers.
I still
Where they
haven't
went, I don't know.
figured out how to use Professor X, so I'm not sure.
I dropped a whole video that you can go watch.
I will check that out. I will do that. So then the last scene is where they're leaving the hospital or not the hospital, wherever they were, when John's like, hey, we need to work together to try to track these guys down, these Flag Smashers. And that's when Bucky and Sam are just like, we're good. We're going to do this. We don't have to go through the law. We can kind of go route our own way. And then John Walker's like, good, then stay out of my way. Word to the wise, stay out of my way. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
It's going to be like that.
It's going to be like that. Way to go, great value cat.
Yeah, and that's when they get.
Yep. That's when you really start hating them.
Yeah, and that's when they get the bright idea to bust out Zemo.
They're like, there's one person that knows more about super
soldiers
than anybody else. Like he was responsible for killing the 5 super soldiers that were on ice. Oh crap! I moved my thing here. Hold on. Yeah, it's all right. That knows more about super soldiers and has killed more super soldiers than anybody else. And that person is Baron Zemo. So it ends with them plotting to go visit Baron Zemo, and that is how the Star-Spangled Man ends its episode.
Then we get episode 3, the Power Broker.
Ooh, the Power Broker. I gotta be honest, this episode right here was the biggest disappointment out of the entire season, in my opinion.
Why is that? Whoops.
So before we jump into 3, give me 1 second.
1.
I did steal your Nick Fury, Silver says, and I'm a Big Green says, Ghost Dog, I'm only 17, but you inspired me to work out every night. Thanks, even though I'm skinny. Hey, even though you're skinny doesn't mean you don't need to work out. Toning up those muscles now is going to help you in the long run.
Yeah.
So
take it
with whatever goal.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Whatever goal you're going for, I'm a Mean Green. Good luck with that. Whether you're looking to lose weight or put on some pounds, it's always a good thing to get in the gym and work out and get your muscles toned the proper way.
Yep. I was just gonna say, take it from me, because in high school I was like $150, $160, played sports all the time, and now it's been 10, 11 years since I graduated, and I'm at a point now where I'm like, oh my gosh, I should have started paying attention to this a lot sooner. And starting to get like, literally yesterday I decided, I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna drink soda for the next month, because that's like my biggest weakness is probably soda. So I've been seeing all your posts too, and that's been a little bit of the inspiration too. It's like, you know what, Ghost Dog's doing it, I got to do it too.
And got a little bit of a raid going in. Jam coming in saying greetings, and we got a black and gold raid from Chris Brown.
Yo.
Here in the Scar, we know who the black and gold raid is coming in from.
Yep.
That is coming in from our friend Simula.
those of you just joining, we are up to we're about to start episode 3, talking about Falcon the Winter Soldier. If you have not watched it, warning, there will be spoilers.
Yep. But thank you for the raid, Simula. Whenever you pop in, I'm sure you'll pop in soon. He likes joining, listening to these conversations. All right, so episode 3.
So yeah, you were saying this was the biggest disappointment of an episode for you?
Yeah.
Why is that?
So, to be honest, there were things that happened in this episode that didn't make sense for a couple of instances. Like something that happens early in the episode doesn't make sense. Something that happens towards the end of the episode doesn't make sense, but you don't realize how much it doesn't make sense until you get to the end of the season. This was the episode that brought up in my opinion, the most amount of inconsistencies of a show. It doesn't break the show, and it doesn't take out the things that are the most important aspects of the show. But yeah, I had an issue with Madripoor. Not necessarily the place, but a lot of things that happened from there. I think that to kind of hide some of the inconsistencies, they released the Zemo dance. It's like, don't look too closely at this. Just
don't look too
enjoy
closely
this
at anything else. Check out this dance.
Just watch this man dancing and don't dissect what happened in the episode. But yeah, we can talk about it. This is the episode that I am least familiarized with. All the other episodes I have watched at least twice, except for this episode. So I'm a little bit rusty on this one.
Let's see.
This is one where they ended up going to meet with the one person that could help them find somebody who was working on super soldier serum. I forgot her name. But then Sam also dresses up as this pimp.
Smiling Tiger. He dressed up as Smiling Tiger. Yeah. That was... I don't know. I'm going to let you guys talk about this episode. I'm just going to... Because I remember a lot of it. But like I said, I don't even remember her name. I don't. The person
I don't remember her name either. This is where I one of the episodes I really wanted to get back to watching.
Where is it at? I have it written down somewhere. Madripoor, This is why you take notes.
This is why you take notes. Selby.
Xander, take it easy, my man. What's going on, Simula? Thanks for the raid, man. Falcon.
But yeah, before we even got any of the Madripoor stuff, there's actually a quick scene.
No, not Carly Simula. We're talking about the lady they met in the club.
Yeah.
That Zemo took Bucky and Sam to in the club.
But before we got Madripoor, we actually had there was a quick scene where John Walker Cap was raiding a building where they had known the flag smashers had been, and then he starts interrogating some. He's like, "Tell me where they are." Then he yells at him. He's like, "You know who I am?" And he's like, "Yeah, I don't care though."
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Another.
It definitely was a bad look on him.
That he's just like, yeah, no one.
And he spit in his face.
Yeah, he spits in his
He
face.
spit in great value Captain America's face.
I like to consider myself a very peaceful person, and it takes a lot to anger me. But if someone spit in my face, it's on. Oh man, I would not be okay with that.
I bet. Most people wouldn't.
Yeah. and then we get the whole Bucky and Sam going to meet Zemo. And then
after Zemo breaks out,
Bucky's like, "Hey, let me go in and talk to him." You know.
Oh, this is before Zemo breaks out.
Yeah, before they officially broke him out, Sam's like, or Bucky's like, "Let me talk to him first."
Whoa! They didn't break him out.
Well, okay.
He broke himself out.
Yes, with maybe a tiny nudge from Bucky. He gave him.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And then I just like that whole. It felt very much like Ocean's 11 style. Like they're talking about hypothetically if this were to happen, and then meanwhile that all is happening in the background at the same time. Just the way that they filmed that I liked it. And then Zemo shows up, and he's just like, "It was never personal. You were just a means to a necessary end." And he's like, if I may have an input here, and they're just like, no.
I
find
just,
out Zemo's rich.
yeah. He's got a butler.
He's got a butler. And
Yeah, they found out he was rich.
got
Like, I don't think anybody's seen that one coming, right?
Nope.
Although he was a baron.
Yeah.
So barons generally have money. Generally.
And then as they're on the plane there, Zemo starts. He talks about the notebook. He gets a hold of the notebook that Bucky has, and then how he's like, "What is this? What's this book for?" And then they have the whole scene where they're talking about, like, "Oh yeah, I won't. That's Steve's book. I gave that, I told him to listen to this soundtrack." And
Yeah.
he's like, "Yeah, the soundtrack does this and that." And Bucky's like, or Sam's like, "You're out of line, but he's right."
Let's see. So then they take the flight to Mangapore, right? Is that the name of the city?
Madripoor.
Madripoor. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm not good with names.
Yeah, and that's where they disguise him as the Smiling Tiger.
Smiling Tiger.
He has his
Pimp, basically.
Yeah,
Basically a pimp.
and as he's walking in,
Oh, no.
and Bucky has to pose as the Winter Soldier again, and people are actually recognizing him, and they're just like, "That's the Winter Soldier." Like you hear like people whispering that and stuff.
Yeah.
Then
He actually had to become the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, they get to the bar, and Sam has to drink some snake drink or something. And he's like, "Oh yes, my favorite." Like, ugh. That's pretty funny. And Zemo then tells him, like, we need to find the power broker. He is the judge, jury, and executioner. This was the first misdirect when they say he is the judge, jury, and executioner.
Which is weird because that makes you think that Zemo knew who he was, or at least had an encounter enough with him that he thought it was a male.
Yeah.
Which we'll get more into that later.
And then that's when people start coming toward them, and Bucky goes full Winter Soldier mode and just starts wrecking people. And they're like, all right, she'll see you now. You can come see her. And while they're having their conversation, Sam got that phone call from his sister and ruined the whole thing. But
Put it on speakerphone.
Yeah. I feel like he should have had some kind of secret code with his sister already in advance. Like, hey, I sometimes have to do things undercover. If I ever say this on the phone call, let's just end it there. Like, I feel like if you're a superhero, you kind of got to have those kind of things with your family.
I feel like he should have had the phone on silent. I mean,
yeah, like your phone
phone
should never be on ring.
Or not even on. Just turn the thing off.
Yeah, why does he even need a phone? Come on now.
At that moment.
He ain't got no kids. There ain't no excuse.
They got the information that Dr. Wilfred Nagel was who they needed to see. He was the one that's creating the serum. So after things go sideways, Selby gets shot, which I think pretty much Sharon Carter. I don't think we ever see it, but I'm assuming Sharon Carter is the one that shot her.
Yes.
I believe so.
Yeah. She was the one doing all the sniper shooting.
Yeah, and then we get everyone as they're leaving, everyone's getting text messages on their phone saying these people are wanted. And fun little fact about this episode was it was directed by it was written. I can't remember if it was written or directed by the guy that created the John Wick character in the movies. He's the one that directed this episode, and it like many parts of it felt very much like John Wick, which I did like that about it. The whole feel of Madripoor and everything felt very John Wick inspired, which makes sense because he was the guy that wrote this.
Assassin says, "Are we still talking?" Yes, there's a lot to cover in this series, Assassin. We're only on episode 3.
Yeah, talk a lot, okay.
We hadn't even gotten to the best fight scene in the entire series yet.
Nope. So the people show up that they wanted on their phones. They now have a bounty on their head.
Yeah.
They go to...
That's when Sharon Carter shows up and says, I'll get
Sharon's
out
house.
of here. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
She's some kind of stolen artwork dealer. And that's when we're like, well, what's this lady been doing since... Because I don't think... She wasn't blipped away, right?
Who, Sharon?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, she was.
But she was.
No, I don't, because I think.
She was gone.
Are you sure?
Yeah, she was on the wall.
She was on the wall, but I think it was under the just missing. So they didn't know where she was. Because
No, they confirmed that she was
Did they?
she was snapped away. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm looking it up now.
I'm pretty sure. I'm about 95% sure.
So there's a chance.
There's a chance. There's a chance I misheard, which makes that chance a lot bigger.
Because the way I remember it is end of Civil War. She's on the run because she helped them escape. She helped them get their stuff, and so she was on the run. They didn't know where she was after Civil War. What happened? It makes sense they wouldn't know if she was still around or not. So she was under the missing person section, but not confirmed gone. I can't remember if they actually name drop her or anything that she's gone.
Metal Sonic Dude came and said,
She's not blipped, but she was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Sim's like, she was not blipped, but they thought she was because she was MIA. I want to say somewhere that they said that she was blipped. Because
I think that it was
after Civil
insinuated that she
War,
was.
it was like 2 years. After Civil War, there was a 2-year gap between Civil War and Infinity Wars.
But to me, for her to like, obviously jumping ahead to, I mean, everyone here at this point, if you don't know the spoilers or anything, that she becomes the power broker. Boom, there it is. I dropped it.
Wham! There it is.
Smacked you in the face with it. To me, it would make sense that if she's grown to power of being this power broker character that is very like feared, I guess, it would make sense to me that she was around for those 5 years in order to build that reputation. I feel like that's not something you can build in just like 2 years, especially if you blip away and then come back. Like,
I 100% agree with that. I also think
I like that
somebody who was probably in kind of a position of power did get blipped away, and during that vacuum, during that 5-year scene of nobody being there, that she took that opportunity to rise herself and take that place. Exactly. I think that that is 100% what happened, and so she may not have been the original power broker, because at this point Zemo, he's been locked up, so maybe there was a change of arms that he wasn't aware of, so maybe it was a he. But then whenever things kind of come back full circle, we figure out that Sharon is the power broker in at least this story. The scene that happens right after what we're talking about, not right after, but a couple scenes after, that's what doesn't make sense.
the whole Dr. Nagel scene.
The Nagel scene, and pretty much what's going on not after, but outside during that scene.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
That's the biggest problem.
Before that, though, we get the best scene of the series, which was Zemo dance.
The Zemo dance.
The Zemo randomly just getting it on in the club, just going to town. And then Sharon's like, "Yeah, I found this Nagel guy. Let's go." So then they go, and then then they get the whole scene where they're meeting Nagel and find out he's the one that's re-engineered the super soldier serum. He was working for the U.S., working off of samples that they had, which is implied that was off of Isaiah Bradley, from all the tests they did, and he's able to recreate it, and it's more subtle though, where they don't need to, there's not like a physical body change and everything. I lost my train of thought. Go back to the notes. Oh yeah, he blipped away though, and that's why the whole program got scrapped. So when he came back, there wasn't anything there, and that's when he says the power broker was willing to pick up my research from where I left off.
Which implies that he didn't know who the power broker was beforehand, or whoever hired him, because he didn't say, "You hired me."
True. Yeah, he would have known. He would have, if he knew who the power broker was in that moment, he might have let it slip in front of her. Be like, "Yo, wait, aren't you the power broker? Why'd you bring them here?" And I'm guessing that's where you're saying you have issues with this. Is like, if she's the power broker, why did she bring them to her guy?
To her guy, right?
And then have
knowing
assassins.
that Zemo,
And then why were
Zemo might
assassins
kill him.
coming after her, and everything? They were protecting Nagel, unless those were just the assassins, I guess, that killed. They were coming.
And why didn't she have more backup with her for the? Because she knew people were looking for Sam and Bucky and Zemo. I don't know. It's a lot of inconsistencies with this Power Broker story with her.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's
Cameron,
what
let's you go now and see what was you're saying that you didn't like about it.
So here I'm actually, like, while we're talking, I am skipping back and forth through the actual episode to make sure that I'm not seeing something wrong. So whenever Sharon comes into the facility, I don't think that Nagel had a chance to identify her.
Was she hiding from you the whole time?
Like,
No,
right before she comes around the corner, that's when Zemo shoots him. So he never was given an opportunity to ID Sharon as the Power Broker. Like, Zemo kind of said, well, if I'm going to stop super soldiers, I got to take care of the source, which that is 100% in line with everything that he's trying to do.
Yeah,
that does not frustrate me with the episode. The fact of the matter that it's later revealed that Sharon is the Power Broker, why couldn't she just call off the assassins? Why does she have to fight them? Yeah, makes for a cool fight scene. But if you have a cool fight scene and the reason for that fight scene is garbage, your whole scene is garbage. And so I don't care how cool it looked. And yeah, it did look cool. It doesn't fit with the overarching story. In the same vein that I didn't like that Bucky was able to nonchalantly break Zemo out of prison. Like, they could have something differently to try to get that information than busting this man who practically disassembled the Avengers out of the prison in Berlin. And speaking of scenes, after Nagel gets killed and they're trying to have to fight their way out of a firefight of sorts, we get the classic Zemo in the purple mask. Mm-hmm. We don't get any kind of explanation or anything about what's so special about this mask, why he used this mask, other than to the people that have read the comics, it was a definite callback.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think it's just kind of an implied thing, I guess, for those that don't know.
Yeah, he definitely does basically put on the mask.
Because he talks about earlier that he was part of Hydra's team researchers to take down the super soldiers, and that he was, like, you know, a big part of all that. So my guess is he used that with part of that mission. But yeah, they don't, like, 100% explain that. Yeah, so I get that. And then as for the whole, like, not calling off the assassins, the difference is, though, I don't think those assassins were there to protect Nagel, which in turn would then be Sharon Carter, the Power Broker's assassins. Those are the assassins that are coming after them because she killed that Selby character earlier in the episode. And they have the bounty.
Yeah, those assassins are different.
So I don't think they're under her payroll necessarily. So that explains why she was, you know, kicking their ass and everything. To me, at least. But I agree with you, the whole, like, you know, obviously breaking out Zemo, it was a fun scene, and it made it, you know, getting the Zemo character out and everything, he was great. But yeah, they could have gone a different route in it. But hey, it's the MCU, they do what they want. And they wanted more Zemo, they wanted Zemo breaking down on the dance floor, and they got it. He puts the mask on basically no reason. That too, yeah, I agree with him. That didn't really, like, he didn't have to put the mask on.
Nope, he didn't.
Unless the mask give him some kind of power. I did like that too, though, because with Zemo, you kind of forget that it's kind of quickly brushed over in Civil War that he was part of the Russian Civil Force, or not Russian, the Sokovian Special Forces or something like that. And so it makes sense that he's a warrior and is actually hand-to-hand combat kind of stuff. And so we see that for the first time. I was like, oh wow, yeah, that was actually that was kind of cool seeing him kick some people's booty.
Yep. I'm listening to read some of the chat. Let's see. Minnesota, this is from a character standpoint. I don't see the point, or I didn't see the power broker change, but who knows what happened to her in those 5 years. People want to get on to episode 4. We're almost there. And then we talked about put on the master vision and Sharon fighting the assassins is supposed to be paint her as a true ally. Yeah. But I don't think those. I still don't think. I think those assassins were there, like the captain was saying, for the reason of striking down the one lady at the bar, who was apparently had her own group of things going on. Yeah. So we get there.
I think the last kind of major thing that happened in this episode was the end when they go to Latvia, and they're going to one of Zemo's hideouts or whatever. And then Bucky's like, I'm going to go for a walk. And then he sees the Komodo bead. And then we get like the Dora Milaje. And we're like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
Wakanda. That I did not expect. I did not expect to see Wakanda in this episode, in the series, actually.
You didn't?
No, I didn't really expect.
The White Wolf reference? You didn't expect to see that?
No, I thought that was just going to be a kind of a nod to it. Just like, oh yeah, he is the White Wolf. But I didn't expect to full on get.
And Zemo, who killed their king? Because Wakanda never forgets.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Wakanda never forgets, just like Baskin Robbins. They always find out.
They always find out.
They always find out.
I'll be honest. I wasn't expecting to see the Dora Milaje or Wakanda at all in the series. It was the biggest surprise for me. Even though they even mentioned earlier in the episode, whenever Sam was against breaking out Zemo, he was like, this man was responsible for bombing the UN and killing King T'Chaka. Like, he actually says it. And I didn't say, oh, well, that means that Wakanda's going to come get him. Because as soon as they found Claw in Black Panther, as soon as they found him on the radar, they came running.
They came for him.
So I should have seen it coming. But at that point, I was thinking with my ooh shiny brain and not my what should I expect later brain.
Yeah.
So yeah, we get I believe it's Ayo. Is that the specific
Ayo.
character?
Mm-hmm.
We get Ayo from the Dora Milaje, who was one of T'Challa's personal guard. That's the first one that we're introduced to in Captain America: Civil War.
Yeah, I think she's basically second in command behind Okoye, right?
Yes.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
And that point was, I believe, the end of episode 3, and that was when that's when not just the episode, but that's when the series really started to do some fun things for me.
Level. It's like,
because then episode 4 kicks off. Episode 4 kicks off.
We get the
Bucky
flashback scene of Bucky in Wakanda, which I thought was really cool too, of her testing him, basically like using the activation codes just to prove to him, like, look, we've got it out of you, you're good.
You're good to go.
And does the codes, doesn't do anything, and you see he's just like crying, he's like in shock, he's like, oh, is this real? Like, I can't believe this. And he's like, you're free. And then he's crying, you're crying, I'm not crying.
This is dust.
And then
dusted eyes.
Then we get back to there's just something just flew into my eye. Okay, it was a bug, I think. And then we flash back to present day where he's having the conversation with Ayo, and we find out Bucky actually has learned a little bit of Wakandan language, so that was kind of cool. He tells her she's just like, I can't believe you broke out Zemo. Basically gives him 8 hours, and he's just like, he's just a means to an end. You know, you can have him like when we're done with him. Oh, that's also, I forgot we skipped over at the end of the last episode. The Flag Smashers bombed that building too.
Was that the end of the 3, or was that the end?
Yeah, that was the end of 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of when Carly's ideals started taking a turn.
Yeah, she goes from just being trying to,
make the world without borders into kind of become a supremacist.
Yeah.
So then episode 4, they give him 8 hours, and he tells us just a mean to an end. I'm trying to think what else happened. 3 and 4 is the kind of ones that are, well, reality. All of them kind of became a blur towards the end.
I understand.
Where I didn't get a chance to rewatch like I did WandaVision.
Yeah, I also am kind of like a blur. I think episode 4 was a blur because the end was so shocking.
4 was blurred. Yeah, the end of 4 I remember.
Yeah, I don't think anybody who watched episode 4 can forget what happened there.
Yeah. So the beginning of episode 4, though, we have when they're back, like Bucky gets back to the loft or whatever, and he's just like, "Hey, so the Wakandans are here. They want Zemo. Give us 8 hours." And that's when they find out about the bombing, and they're like, "Okay, we really gotta get this going." And that's when Zemo has their whole conversation. He compares them to becoming a super soldier to supremacist ideals. He says anyone with the serum ends up on that bad path, and that's when they're just like, "Well, Steve Rogers did," and he's like, "Touche," but there's never going to be another Steve Rogers.
Exactly.
Which then it flashes to a flash smasher scene.
What kind of scene?
Yeah, it's a tongue twister for some reason. Where it's Carly and the other guy, and he tells her, he's like, I didn't think there'd be another Steve Rogers until I met you. So kind of like parallels that Zemo saying like,
he talked about how he grew up idolizing Captain America.
He grew up idolizing him, and now he sees her as him as well, which then gets another callback to getting killed by the shield that he idolized growing up. Kind of poetic when you look at it, you know what I mean? It's just,
Well, I mean, the talk itself was fine.
Hey, Phoenix, how's it going?
Yeah.
But during that scene, if I remember correctly, that's when she had hidden the doses of the rest of the super soldier serum doses,
Underneath that rock. Yeah.
and she retrieves them. And I'm thinking to myself, you're about to go to Mama Danya's memorial. Why do you need these vials right now?
Oh, she said if we can make more people like us.
It's trying to convince people at the funeral, I think, is what she was going to try to do.
Because Mama Danya's ideals were, one world, one people.
Yeah.
And in order to do this, we're going to have to make more people like us.
She should have left them right there, see who she could get on her side, and then say, "Meet me at this undisclosed place." I felt like that was a sloppy kind of thing, but that was my initial reaction. That's just how I felt about her getting the vials there. I would have even liked it if nobody on the team would have known where they were except for her. I understand that there's a big problem with that, because if she dies, then nobody knows where they are. But I felt like it was a huge risk to take it with her that comes back to bite her in the butt later on in the episode.
Someone pointed out that they think that Carly looked very young, like a kid.
I just looked her up. She's 23.
I would say, I thought she was early 20s.
Yeah. Let's see. So then Bucky and Sam and Zemo go out to try to find... They find out that this... How did they find out that this lady died? The Mama Danya, that they knew
they got information from... Zemo actually got the information from kids using Turkish Delights.
Well, no, because they went to that site asking them, like, where the funeral was. Like, where is this person? Like, do you know where the funeral's going to be? Like, they knew it ahead of time, I think, didn't they?
I thought they found out during that time.
They didn't find out. Zemo found out and didn't tell him, so that he would have leverage for them to not give him over to the Wakandans.
Well, yeah, he found out where the funeral was going to be. I'm just saying, though, when did they find out that she was dead and having a funeral?
I think that they were trying to do interrogation before they went down the street, and one of the people had said it. But like I said, that let me see. Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened. Sam had gotten wind of it by one of the teachers that were there.
Oh, yeah, the teacher guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it was then. So then they start walking away, and John Walker shows up
Again.
Everybody's favorite person.
Again, he shows
He's
up.
like, oh, mad, obviously, that they broke out Zemo. He's like, how can you do this? And he's like, take me to Carly now. And they're like, easy, just slow down. We know what we're doing. We gotta do this the right way. And then that's when Sam like convinced. He's like, hey, if we're gonna go in there, we need to let me talk to her first. This is right in my wheelhouse. Good with this trauma kind of stuff. I'm good. I'm used to dealing with soldiers with trauma. And then Walker's like not having it, but then his partner Lamar Hoskins, he's just like, yo, I think we should let him just try this first. And that's what Walker also said. He said, are you going to let your partner walk in there alone with a super soldier? And then Bucky's like, well, first off, he's not my partner.
Which is a very recurring theme of the whole show.
Kind of reflected later on at the end of the episode when they're first busting into the room where the Flag Smashers are. John Walker lets Lamar walk off up the stairs by himself and goes into the room with the super soldiers by himself. So he does exactly what he told Bucky not to do, and that's what ends up getting Lamar killed.
For the most part, yep.
Well, true. Just getting him captured, I guess, leading to him getting killed later. I guess. Then they got a funeral scene. What happens there?
Sam shows up. He's waiting in the wings. Pun intended.
We'll talk about that towards the end here. We'll get into like what we think is going on with the Loki show. We'll also talk a little bit about the upcoming Black Widow movie a little bit as well.
Yeah.
All right, so go ahead, continue, Cameron.
And after everybody leaves, they actually have a good talk and
wash your hands.
and
somebody needs to wash their hands.
Someone gotta wash their hands.
Wash your hands.
And he's actually reaching Carly. He's actually making some headway.
Turn the water.
And things would have probably gone very well.
Wash your hands. Get the soap.
Yeah, he explains.
Could you
to her
please wash your hands?
Please, get the soap in.
Please wash your hands.
You gotta wash your hands.
Use the story in.
For the love of Jesus.
They laughing at him because he need to wash his hands. The joys of parenthood.
Sam basically explains to her in that moment. He's like, "Look, I agree with what you're doing. That you're just not doing it the right way, and I can't be with you if you're going to do it that way." Then John Walker, even though he said I'd give you 10 minutes, busts in after like 3. He's like, "Look, we're taking you in." And she turns. She's like, "You were never on my side." Luckily, she comes to her senses later on and still decides to try and work with him. But then things go sideways again.
Very sideways. Because
Yep.
Carly thought that she was, he was trying to set her up.
That part was also kind of weird. It was like when they all came in, when John Walker came bursting in while they were in the middle of their conversation, it was the 3 of them, but they left Zemo all alone, handcuffed.
Right. Handcuffed by himself. Like Zemo just didn't break out of jail.
This dude knows how to lock a pick. This guy's an evil genius mastermind. Like, he took down the Avengers solo. Come on. Of course he knows how to pick a lock. He just didn't do it in front of you guys because you're all standing there. You just leave him, and then he gets
I'm
free.
glad you got it right the second time, Captain.
What did I say?
Lock a pick.
Oh, did I? Yeah, you don't know how to lock a pick? Come on now. My bad. Sometimes I talk too fast and don't realize what
It's okay. It's okay. We get it.
Yeah, and then, they have the whole chase down. Carly ends up running into Zemo, who then shoots her, and she drops all the serum. And that's when Zemo
And then he
has
starts crushing vials.
He's like, "Is this what I think it is?" And he starts having a jig.
Starts pulling a little Looked like the guy out of Home Alone, where he's like busting all the when he broke through the window.
Oh,
and
yeah.
everything. That was painful. But yeah, this was one of the parts where I was like, that felt very predictable. When she's running away, I'm like, okay, they showed Zemo got escaped. She's gonna run into Zemo. She's gonna drop the vials. There's gonna be one left over, and John Walker's gonna find it. Like I literally predicted that as it happened, and then it happened to a T.
Yep.
And John Walker too. When he sees it, he does the whole Wanda head tilt, like evil head tilt.
Yeah. He definitely does that. I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah. So Carly gets away while Zemo was crushing vials, and John Walker finds the last uncrushed vial and pockets it. And then Carly is talking with the rest of the Flag Smashers and saying, "Look, we gotta figure these guys. We gotta do something about these guys." And that's when she calls Sarah, Sam's sister, and says, "I'm just trying to figure out if I should kill your brother or not."
Yeah.
And that's that. I feel like this was a mistake, not in the episode, but you don't mess with his family. Like that's when he got big mad.
Yeah, and then she tries.
Now, he's still
I had no intention of hurting them. I just had to get my point across. It was like he just did the whole scare tactic. Like, oh yeah, I wasn't actually going to do anything, but I knew it would work. It's like, did she really mean it though, or did she not? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think she messed with the wrong one. That's what I think. So she calls Sarah, and of course Sarah's gonna call Sam when he, should have his phone on.
Uncle Sam. Yeah, this time he should have his phone on.
Yeah, yeah. But before the call comes through, there's a fun little conversation that Zemo has with Sam, and asks Sam,
"Would he take some sort of serum?
Would you take the serum if you had the chance?" And Sam says no, and Zemo's like, "Oh, you didn't even hesitate with that. Good for you."
Yeah. Then they get their party crashed by the Dormelage.
Best fight scene in the series, in my opinion.
It was really good. Yeah.
Yes, that by far was one of the best.
Yeah. And
it's so funny.
Yeah.
It's so funny because they show up. They're like, "It's been 8 hours. It's time for you to hand Zemo over."
Hand him over.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Well, we're still trying to do this." And that's when Great Value Cap shows up. He's like, "Hi, John Walker, Captain America." And I was like, "I don't think you understand what's going on." And then doesn't realize who he's messing with. And I'm just watching. I'm just waiting. I'm like waiting for him to just get picked apart.
We all knew it was coming, and
we all knew it was coming.
Like, oh, this is not going to end pretty for him. And Bucky and Sam knew it was coming. They're like, "John, just back off. Like, come on, man."
Hey, John Walker found out what
he literally tells me, "You don't want to pick a fight with the Dormelage."
Yeah, you'd be better off fighting Bucky.
He's
like, "Look, you guys don't have jurisdiction here."
Exactly.
And they're like, "We have jurisdiction wherever we want, pretty much."
Right.
And
essentially, John Walker
his hand on her shoulder.
Hold on. So essentially, John Walker finds out what every young black boy in America found out about their mom when they acted up. That mom had hands.
She'll throw down if she needs to.
The hard way.
And that was the part too when they start fighting, and Bucky and Sam at first are just standing there back watching, and Sam's like, "We should do something." And Bucky's like, "You're doing great, John. Looking strong." I was cracking up like, oh my gosh. And then it actually looked like at one point she was getting ready to kill John Walker too. Like she goes, here.
She definitely was.
She going for the head like Thanos told him to, and that's when Bucky like steps. He's like, "Hey, let's not go there. Come on." And it's kind of funny at first. He's like being real casual, like not like, "I don't want to fight you. Like, come on, let's just be civil." And then they just keep going at it, and same with Sam. And then she freaking just disabled Bucky's arm. Like that was a big surprise too. That one was like, whoa.
She
She
did
hit
a
him with the-
fucking
she hit-
five-finger palm technique
Yeah,
from
she hit him
Kill
like
Bill
ting,
2.
ting,
She's
ting,
like,
ting. She learned that one from Mr. Miyagi for sure.
Someone, I heard
And his
someone
arm just
reference it as that they hit him with the up, up, down, down, left, right, left, right.
You knew the cheat codes.
No,
The
she
cheat code.
didn't hit him with the Konami code. That wasn't a Konami code. She hit him with the raging demon right there. But yeah,
In the midst
yeah.
of all that fight, Zemo got away as well. That was the other thing.
Yeah, that was the big thing.
He made like a Ninja Turtle and went in the sewers.
Yep. Probably found some pizza on the way. Then we get John Walker and Hoskins talking, and John Walker's asking, he's like, if you were getting this, kind of the same conversation that Zemo and Sam had. Says, if you were offered the serum, would you take it? And he's like, of course. Heck yeah, I would. And then he kind of reiterates the whole, like, because I guess it's common knowledge that with the doctor, was it Dr. Erskine, right?
Yep.
He says that the serum only amplifies what's in the person, so good becomes great, bad becomes worse. And he kind of tells him that he's like, "Look, you're you're the greatest soldier I've ever been with, I've ever seen. You've got 3 medals of honor. You always made the right choice. Like, if you took the serum, it would only make you better." So then it's like, oh, okay, well, yeah,
I think they misunderstood exactly what that meant.
yeah, doing the right thing or making the right choices might not have always paid off the right way.
I want to go back just for a hair.
Yeah.
During that fight with the Dora Milaje, it was my favorite line in the entire episode. He goes, "They aren't even super soldiers."
Yeah,
Yes, when he whined about not being super soldier.
yeah, it was like kid
He
who
was
just got whining to his mom. They weren't even super soldiers.
I know, like getting picked apart by the Flag Smashers is one thing because they're all super soldiers.
Yeah,
He just got picked apart by the Dora Milaje. and He's
Dora
like,
Milaje.
"They're not even super soldiers."
No, they're just highly trained warriors.
they're extremely talented and skilled.
He effed around and found out. That's what happened.
So yeah, then back
Okay.
to John Walker and
Yeah.
Hoskins. They were talking, and another hint that some of the stuff that they did while they were on their missions or whatever wasn't necessarily legal or good, because he says,
Yeah.
"Those 3 medals of honor that I have are just a constant reminder of the worst day of my life." And then he says,
Yeah.
"We both know the things we did to get those awards were far from the right, or far from being right." And so that was just like again, he's just like, you almost start to feel bad for him because you're like, yeah, okay, he did go into this wanting to make a difference. He's like, because he's what he said earlier in this season, that he's just there. He feels like he has a chance to actually do something right.
Yep.
But it's just, it got a little too much to his head, and he tried too hard.
I think this cap, the John Walker cap, is try hard in every sense of the word.
Mm-hmm.
Like he introduces himself by first name, last name, and Captain America, like in almost every situation. So he's trying a little bit too hard for something
He's trying harder than I try when I try to talk to girls. Like, and that's not a good thing,
So yeah. So that's when we get to the point where Sam gets word that Sarah got called, and he's like, "Okay, we got to talk to Carly," and that's when, whenever they're talking with her, and Sam is still trying to talk her down, saying, "I get what you're doing. I agree with why you're doing it. I don't agree with how you're trying to make this change come about." That's when I keep trying to accidentally use Andre's. I don't know if you guys know Andre Meadows, Black Nerd Comedy, but he had the perfect saying for him, and it's hard not to use it. He called him Party City Cat. And I'm trying not to use that. So that's why I'm trying to stick with Great Value Cat, but Party City is just so dang good. But yeah, that's when Lamar gets kidnapped, and John Walker is now showing off these new abilities that he's gained from
We see a
taking.
couple things. He busts in through the door, and he's hiding. He's hiding behind the shield. Has the gun. Definite callback to the first Captain America.
Yep.
And they're raiding
Yep.
all the Hydra bases. But then yeah, we see him throw the shield, and it sticks into the wall. We see him do a couple other things. You're just kind of like, oh, yep, I think he took the serum. I think he did. And that's when Lamar gets captured. Where in that moment, I don't know what happens because they're walking up the staircase, and John Walker stops for a second and like looks back like he's looking for something or listening. And while he does that, while he's a little distracted, that's when Hoskins walks off by himself, essentially letting his partner go off by himself. Call back to the line from earlier in the episode. That ends up getting Lamar captured. And then what happened? Bucky and Sam, they're talking with Carly, and then they get word that John Walker was showing up, and that's when they run over there. Carly rushes over there as well, and it escalates. They have the whole fight scene where John Walker and Sam are working together, kind of.
Yeah.
And Bucky too. Bucky catches the knife, and John Walker makes a comment about all the knives. Like, why?
Like, what's with all the knives? Yeah.
Yeah.
He makes that comment at the same time Lamar is cutting himself free with a knife.
Yeah.
Also, did you guys notice that everything that John threw, Bucky caught?
Yeah, everything that threw. Yeah, he catches the shield many times, and it's thrown at him, and all that kind of stuff. Bucky just got good reflexes,
Oh yeah. He got some of that Drax training, because Drax said, "Nothing goes over my head. I'm too quick, and I can grab it."
Gotta catch it.
The whole "why is Gamora?"
Yep.
Then the flag smashers at one point actually they're holding John Walker down. That's when Carly shows up, and she's getting ready to just stab him.
And that's when Lamar comes and tackles her.
Yep. And then she kicks him, and she says later on that she didn't mean to actually kill him in the finale, but at the same time, well, what did you think was going to happen? You're a super soldier. He's not. You kick him halfway across the room into a pillar.
Yeah.
Like, come on, know your own strength.
And that
Especially when
was,
you're a super soldier.
and unfortunately, that is the end of Lamar Hoskins in
Running
the
MCU.
series. And I hate that he died, only having been in 3 episodes of this series. I think, along with a lot of other people, think he deserved more. I think he deserved better. That, he, even though we did not like John Walker, I don't think anybody had an issue with Lamar Hoskins. I think it was like, Lamar Hoskins is cool. He keeps John grounded. And as soon as he dies, we see how true that is.
Yeah. In the comics, wasn't it? I'm not the comic guy, but I've heard from videos that the same thing basically happens in the comics, except it's his family that dies, and then he goes crazy.
I unfortunately don't know. John Walker is not a character that I have very much familiarized myself with.
That's what I've heard then, that John Walker, I don't even know if the Battlestar character, I think he's in the comics, maybe, I don't know. But
He is.
John Walker's parents or family, I think, are the ones that ended up getting killed that make him go crazy.
Xander Scar says his parents got killed, and that made him flip his lid in the comics.
There we go.
Mike Middleton says also, I know it's not on topic, but Walker, while not worthy of Cap's shield, is a cool anti-hero, and the MCU can use whatever he ends up. Yo, yeah, they're definitely gonna be bringing him back for something special.
I have theories about that as well.
Also, Mike Middleton says, can we agree that Battlestar is kind of a lame name? Cool character, tragic situation, but Battlestar, comic writers could have done better. Battlestar wasn't terrible.
It wasn't terrible.
Games, I feel like it sounded just really cheesy, I think, is all, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it was the worst name. But yeah, so Lamar gets killed, and Walker is going. He's going out for blood, and he finds the first flag smasher that he can see. Essentially tackles him down to the ground and executes him. The man was unarmed. I think he actually said, "I surrender." And
Yeah, he's like, I didn't do it. It wasn't me.
It kind of puts you back in the thought process of how authorities sometimes go too far.
yeah,
And we end up with situations that we've been talking about for times here in the States.
yeah. So John Walker, I don't think that they showed it, but I think it is very much implied that he beheads this flag smasher character, and Carly watches it, as well as a whole number of people, and they all have their phones out. They're like, "Oh my gosh, Captain America just killed a man!" And like I said it on my channel that I like when I watched that scene, and then they cut to the scene of John Walker holding the shield, and the shield has a whole bunch of blood on the bottom side of it, that I was just like, Childish Gambino, like, whoop, whoop, this is America. Don't you? Yeah, I was just like, yep, that's America right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how the episode ends, and then like all of that cool like da-dunk music that's been on the end of every single not on this one. This one was just like, y'all just watched a murder. There's nothing funny or happy about this.
Yeah, I was surprised how much blood there was and everything in that too. Like I was trying to think of another scene in the MCU that was on that scale of like, wow, I can't believe they fit that in as a PG-13. Because that was a lot. It was brutal. Felt like something out of the Hunger Games.
It was something out of something, but it was rough. But yeah, that's how episode 4 ends. And I think that, in my opinion, even though I really liked episode 4, episode 4 may have been, it had some of my favorite moments in it. I like the narrative that the rest of the episodes build upon, with like the one exception that I've already talked about.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, episode 5, which is entitled "Truth," is where we're at next.
Yep.
That's
so
where...
episode 5 starts off with Great Value Cap running into a warehouse, having flashbacks of different things. You can see where the serum is kind of, I don't know if like necessarily like triggering him, but I guess is the best way of putting it. He's like twitching from it, like from the adrenaline along with the serum. So it was kind of a strange feeling for him. And then Bucky and Sam also follow him into that warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
And then state that, hey, Sam tries to talk him down, give up the shield, we can talk this out,
That's when he's like he's trying to justify it to them, and I think to himself, no, look, I had to do it. Like, he killed him. He's like, no, he didn't. He didn't kill him.
Yeah, he didn't kill him, right.
So I don't know if it's the serum or something in his mind that twisted it, or if he's just trying to like make it feel right for himself. Like, no, yeah, I did have to do that. That was right. Which we get a callback to that kind of again later when he tells Lamar's parents, like, yeah, no, I killed the guy. I got him. It's like, well, no, you didn't.
You got the wrong person.
You got the wrong person.
Even Mom was like, "Are you sure you got the person that killed Lamar?" And he was like, "Yep." I shouldn't laugh about that.
Double down on it. You never lied to Mama like
he
that.
Did.
Come on, man.
He lied to Mom, and you know what? She knew. I'm almost certain that. Why would she ask that question? Why would she ask that question? That's the second time
his sister kind of felt suspicious.
I mean, when it comes down to it, John Walker may be a decent human being, but he has a weakness to the sisters. I think that's why he married one. Like his wife was high yellow, but she's sister.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, the
But
whole.
yeah, that's when that's.
What was that?
I was gonna say, but that's when we get into the fight between John Walker
Yeah, the fight
and
with him
Bucky and Sam, because they're
Yeah.
which was like very very much. There were so many callbacks in that, and like just moments that felt very familiar because they were essentially making like references to previous scenes, and it just felt very much like Civil War, the fight with Iron Man, Cap, and Bucky. So
Yeah.
this time it's Sam and Bucky versus Cap. And Cap's on the new Cap.
We can't call him Cap.
great value, Cap. Great value.
You gotta give him the right
I
nickname.
am captain now. Like literally, I was captain before John Walker. Come
Oh,
on.
we can't make that joke until episode 6.
Yeah. Walker at one point literally tries to kill Bucky.
He tries to kill both of them.
Yeah, he does.
Rips off the wings too.
Oh yeah, that I hate it when that happened. Whenever Sam got his wings ripped off, I was like,
Yeah.
dang.
Oh, that actually reminded me too. Back in I think it was episode 2 when they were fighting the Flag Smasher for the first time, and she breaks Red Wing, and Bucky's like, "I've always wanted to do that."
That was a moment.
So yeah, and then they eventually able to get the shield out of his hands by literally breaking his arm, which that one made you cringe a little bit, like ooh, ow. And then they use him. Bucky pretty much picks him up and uses him as a baseball bat, and Sam
Shield uses a drop kick.
It was that one had to hurt, I would assume. Super soldier serum or not.
So then they get the shield. They take the shield back to.
They take it back to the base or whatever, and then Torres shows up again, and he's looking at the suit, and he's like, "It's all busted up," and Sam's just like, "Keep it, you can have it."
Keep the wings.
You can have it. Yeah.
Which I guess I heard in someone's breakdown that Torres in the comics takes over the role of Falcon after Sam takes on Captain America. So this won't be the
Very
end
possible.
of Torres.
Very possible.
Especially because throughout the season, he kept mentioning a few things here and there, like, "Oh, you could do this with the suit." Like that happened in the first episode, and kind of a hint at it there. That was the other thing too in the first episode we kind of skipped over. Going way back, was when he was just like asking about Cap, like, is he living on the moon? Like, there's kind of a moon out there. You didn't fly on the moon, did you? So, yeah. Then we get the Walker trial.
Right, the Walker trial, where he basically yells at Congress or the GRC, I think.
Yeah. He's like, "Look, I've done everything you guys have told me to do, and you're doing this to me now."
They give him a dishonorable discharge, but they call it a less than honorable
discharge.
I mean, you let the man go without any benefits. That's essentially what you did. You fired him.
Yeah. Do they know though that he took the serum at this point, do you think?
No.
Yeah,
No.
my guess is they don't. Do you think if they did know, would they have gone the whole Isaiah Bradley, throw him in jail, or lock him up and do test on him thing?
No.
They wouldn't lock him up and do test on him. They would probably do test on him.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And they probably would still take the shield from him.
Yeah.
But they would do something else with him.
Mm-hmm.
They would give him some sense of freedom, even though they would have him like do mandated blood tests or urine tests. They would make him have to do these check-ins, and they would use all of that stuff that they would get from him to do tests on that. So he would still be, able to go around and walk around and do this, that, and the other, but he would have to check in like a probation officer of sorts.
Gotcha.
No, they weren't gonna lock him up.
Go Gamer! Congratulations on that, man. That's a kind of a cool thing.
So then when he walks out, we get the big cameo that they talked about.
Yes, the big cameo for the episode was what's her name from
Seinfeld.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus,
Seinfeld, yes.
Elaine Bennett.
Elaine
Contessa
Bennett.
Valentina Allegra de Fontaine.
Yep.
But you can call me Val, but not out loud.
But don't call me Val for real.
Yeah.
It's kind of like in Animaniacs. Her name is Dot, but don't call her Dottie. I'm trying to remember what it is. I should know this. It's Animaniacs.
Dude,
My
I
name
used to
is-
love that show. They made a remake of that, right? It's back on the air.
Oh yeah,
Like-
it's on Hulu. It's on Hulu.
Right? Yeah.
I watched it too.
I haven't watched it yet. But yeah, I used to
It's
love
good.
that show.
It's good.
You understood that reference, Thunderscar? Should I get the Captain America meme up going? I understood that reference.
But yeah, Julia, or this Val chick, basically tells John Walker, like, look, I think you did the right thing. You know, come talk to me. We'll work it out for you, and you know, we'll get you all figured out. And I know you. I think she says that she knows that he took the serum, right?
Oh yeah, she says
knew,
Yeah.
they knew he took the serum. They said, don't worry about the shield because it's like a legal gray area.
Yeah, they're like, technically they can't even take it from you.
You can't do anything about
You
it.
don't know.
It's not doesn't belong to them either.
doesn't even belong to the United States. It's
Wakandan tech.
Well, it's not even that. I think someone made reference of that. They knew that this shield came from an alternate timeline.
an alternate
So it's-
timeline.
Yeah, it was given to Sam, but that
That version.
if you
of
go
Cap-
back to Endgame's concept of
well, that shield was
how time works is that you can't go back to your past. You have to go back to create a new past, and then it starts a new timeline.
that previous past then becomes
Your future.
yeah, and because you remember too, this actual shield that Cap uses in Endgame gets shattered.
Yep.
So that shield that he comes back with, like either he's just really found some really good glue and tape and got it back together, or
Dipped it in the fountain of repair.
yeah,
And pulled it out.
Who knows?
Something along them lines.
I forgot about that. That circular shield got destroyed.
Yeah, it was not circular by the end of that battle. No.
No, it
was
wasn't.
It was definitely Half Moon.
Yeah.
How could I forget that?
Definitely Half Moon.
But so yeah, it did definitely come from. Well, I don't know if it would be a different timeline. It
Hey,
definitely-
Julia Lay. Just
But,
say hi to somebody. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wish I can remember, because I know, yeah, the next time we see a shield, old Steve gives it to Sam.
Yeah.
And, sorry, I'm trying to fix my stuff here. I keep kicking the tripod leg, and that causes all kinds of problems. But we are never told where he got that particular shield, because, I mean,
Right.
that... You're dealing with what you're saying, some time inconsistencies. That's
Exactly.
interesting.
Yeah.
So okay,
We have
Gray
the
area.
shield. Yeah, we have the shield now. She gives him a card. She gives his wife a card and says, "Give me a call," or better yet, "We'll call. Just answer my phone call when I call you." And the card was blank. They're both looking at each other. He's like, "Who was she?"
What just happened? Like what?
Yeah, what's going on?
yeah,
So we move on to Sam.
Or Zemo's visiting Sokovia.
Oh, Zemo's visiting Sokovia at the statue where Sokovia would have been.
Bucky.
Not if it had became a rock that was imploded in the sky.
Yeah. Bucky shows up, aims a gun at him, makes him think he's gonna kill him, but instead he obeys rule number 2 and no one gets hurt. And
Yep.
he passes them along to the Dora Milaje, then asks them for a favor, like, by the way, one last thing.
yeah. Do me a favor, like
Do me a
geez.
solid and make my boy a new suit.
Yeah, but we don't know. Well, we infer that it's a suit, but we're not shown the suit. Like for the entire
we're not shown the
episode,
suit.
whatever's in the suitcase it's like the case from Pulp Fiction. Like you see it being opened and looked at, but you never get to see what's actually in it.
Yeah.
And yeah, the rest of this episode really doesn't have that much action to it.
Yeah,
it sets up episode 6.
Sam and Isaiah talking and just having some more hard.
Yeah, this was probably one of the more non-action shows that was in it because, like you said, it was a talk with Isaiah and Sam. It was a talk with Sam
Bucky's
working on
to help out with the boat. He flirts with his sister.
Yep.
Yo,
what's going on, Optimus? How's it going? Konnichiwa. How you say Konnichiwa, Mr. Optimus? Because you're in Japan now, right? Sorry about that. My incursions partner / really good gaming friend has showed up in the stream, and he just showed up. He got his orders, and he's in Japan right now. Okay. He's here on the stream.
Sweet. We get Sharon Carter talking on the phone to someone, saying like, "I'll hire you. I'll play you double this time." And the first time I watched through this, I was just like, "Oh, I have no idea who she's talking to." And then someone, when I was doing my watch party, was like, "Go back, watch it, put on subtitles." And it says that it's Batroc she was talking to.
Yeah, it did say that.
Who we didn't even. I don't think we talked about him. We were talking about first episode. We just said, "Oh yeah, they're on a mission." It was very action. But that was cool to get him back from Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
Yep.
So then we find out that that's another one of the big hints. Like, okay, well, she's hiring these people. Maybe she is the power broker. Right? At that point, I was kind of like, they're probably going to make her the power broker.
I think a lot of people had really suspected before that, but definitely by that time.
Yeah.
If you didn't have any idea who the power broker was, you knew she was.
At that point, I'm just like, well,
if she wasn't the power broker, she worked really close with the power broker.
Yeah, and at that point, it was just felt way too late in the season to introduce a brand new character as the power broker. You know? It's like you would have like an episode and a half to talk about this character to actually meet this new person that we're getting introduced to. Like, I don't know. So yeah, we find out she hires Batroc to basically go to the Flag Smashers and pretend to be helping them, basically. Then we get the whole Bucky and Sam scene where they're throwing around the shield.
Little game of catch.
Yeah, a little game of toss. With
just a small game.
Yeah, and Bucky reveals in that scene that he was aware of Steve Rogers, of his plans, that he was planning to give the shield to Sam and that he was going to stay back in time with Peggy. So that was kind of cool to actually, because that was kind of the theory that I had heard before, and I was like, yeah, it would make sense if Bucky knew about that they had a conversation.
Well, he kind of had to because he told Sam.
He's like, hey, Sam, look over here. Go. Yeah, and he told me, you go ahead. So it's like, he knew. He had to have known.
Which, again, kind of goes back against the grain of the MCU's theory of time travel. But, nonetheless.
Yeah, true. Just got a phone call from my mom. Sorry, I text her. I just don't know if it's like something important or not. I'm like, should I call her back?
So there's that. Sam does some extensive Rocky Balboa montage training with the shield.
Before that, Bucky explains to him. He's like, "Look, I think I finally understand like why you wanted to give me the shield in the first place."
Right.
That whole speech of him, like, I don't think me and
him and Sam understood
what it meant to hand the shield to a black man. It's not something we could never have anticipated. So he basically kind of like apologizes to him and just letting him know, like, I understand, I get it now.
Yep.
Then we get the whole Bucky or Sam. I keep mixing them up. Like, I feel like I've said their names so many times. So I'm just like, which one?
One has short hair. One has a buzz cut.
Yeah.
Or better yet, one's black, one's white.
I didn't even notice.
I wish somebody would have told me sooner.
No,
right.
I felt like a fool all this time.
Spoiler alert. I'm sorry, I should have hit that.
Yeah, talk about spoilers. My goodness. Could have warned me in advance on that one.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Then Sam goes a full montage of learning how to use the shield. Kids call him Uncle Sam
Uncle Sam
said that
is
a few
getting
times.
strong.
Yeah.
He's getting ready. He opens up the case, and we don't get to see. I'm glad we didn't see once we finally saw in episode 6.
It was great. Yeah, the reveal was nice.
It really was. I'd like when I saw the wings, I'm like, okay, but at this point, we're kind of getting into 6. And are we ready to hop into 6?
Yeah, I think
Yes, let's get
kinda
into
where it
6.
is.
Let's get into 6. We're about a little over 2 hours in, so we probably need to get into about wrapping this joint up. But let's get into 6 and give our final
Also,
thoughts.
there was the end credit scene though, where Walker is seen making his new shield.
Oh, making the
yeah.
shield, yeah. Definitely not from vibranium.
Look,
Definitely not vibranium.
Great Value Cap is making his Great Value shield in that cutscene.
A great.
I don't even know if you can call that a great value shield. That was just
As a Dollar General, it was a Dollar General.
It might have been Dollar Tree.
It was definitely a concept shield for sure. It was not a legit one.
It was definitely.
All right, and now I need to pull up
So episode 6.
episodes.
Yes, definitely, Xander. Cosplay Captain America. That's about the best way you could put that. So episode 6 starts off with all the action for about the first 20 to 25 minutes.
Yep.
You get the Flag Smashers breaking into the GRC meetings. Basically, Carly telling them that, we got to do what we have to do. We got to do it to stop them because they're not going to stop them unless we stop them. And the tech they had was very strange. Did anybody else kind of think about that tech? The little orange smoke ball they threw in there?
Oh, that kind of looked like a pumpkin bomb?
I mean, I'm just saying.
It definitely had a pumpkin bomb feel to it.
Definitely had a pumpkin ball feel.
A couple donations from Mr. Green Goblin, maybe? Norman Osborn.
Mr. Osborn. Hey, what's going on, Tom Higgins? Thank you, man. We love doing these. We love doing these wrap ups.
Gonna step out for a second. Just call my mom back just to make sure because she's never replying to my text. I'm like, what was that?
Okay, yeah, go check and see what's going on.
Got it. Yeah, you got to answer mom. Nobody will think any less of you.
Nope. So they come in with those pumpkin ball smoke things, kind of start pushing people out. So instead of them really breaking in, it was really them trying to push them out.
Yeah, they were trying to get everybody to escape the building, and that was all part of the plan. So that they could move them to a separate, secure location. And in that instance, they were going to try to get the GRC not to pass the Patch Act, which would have set the borders back up and displaced anybody that had migrated from one place to another during the blip.
Yeah.
But during the evacuation, that's when we get our first glimpse of Sam in the new suit. And when he first showed up, he looked outstanding in it.
He did.
And
he did.
It was, what was crazy about it is that a lot of times whenever you're taking these costumes that have been on the page and transferring them to something tangible, to something on the screen, you have to make quite a few edits and changes to it. And this one, really, they didn't. Like, it was pretty much, now I'm not saying it's 1-to-1, but they barely changed anything.
It was pretty close. It was pretty close.
Very close, but it looked great. I think the only thing that I kind of noticed, but it was something that I noticed throughout the series. God dang it! I keep kicking my tripod. Is that Sam? He's not as tall as everybody else in the show.
No, he's definitely a much shorter individual.
And I'm not saying that he's actually
Cat
short.
back
He's
here
just
doing the Zemo. Cat was doing a Zemo.
Oh, he's doing a Zemo.
I was too out of the picture though. I forgot. And actually, it was funny. I first walked in, I started doing it, and I forgot I hid my camera when I walked in. We're good. My dad just didn't know how to get his text messages on his computer, so yeah.
Okay.
Classic old people in technology.
Technology
Hey,
is
wait a minute,
so hard.
I don't know how to get text messages on my computer. What are you talking about? Old
If you
people?
have them, well,
That's-
it's a
that's-
MacBook.
It's a Mac. It's a Mac
iPhone.
thing.
It's a Mac.
Yeah. I don't.
Okay, then I don't feel so bad.
Well, the funny thing is, like, he literally told me a year ago he had me disable it because he got annoyed of getting all the notifications and his computer constantly going ding, 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 and like I can literally just disable it and you won't get the notifications, but you can still use it. He's like, I don't want my text message on my computer. Well, now he wants the text messages on his
Get off
computer.
my lawn.
Of course.
So real quick, you got a
Where are
couple
we at?
things here from the chat. Real quick, Mike Middleton and Xander Scar both said there was a rumor that Norman Osborn's scene/reference that was cut to use later on. And then Xander says, fun fact, got cut out and is being saved for Spider-Man No Way Home.
That would make more sense to introduce him there.
It definitely would. It would
Just
fall
like-
in line with one of the things that I want with this new Spider-Man. I made a video about the 5 things I wanted, and one of those things was somebody who is on the very short list of Spider-Man's greatest villains. And Norman Osborn's Green Goblin is on that list. He is in very rare or very short company. Yeah, there's only 3 I put on that list. And he's one of them. So
I'm going to guess Norman Osborn is 1. 2, Dr. Octopus?
yeah, he's on that list.
And
3, Venom.
3.
There you go.
I was
You got a bingo.
gonna say Venom. Yeah.
Everybody wants Venom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Do you think that they'll do? That they'll bring Tom Hardy Venom, right?
do I think they will? I will respond to that by saying yes.
Okay.
I think that if they do bring Venom, they're going to bring Tom Hardy. I think that with Sony's kind of doing their own thing. But as long as they're willing to play ball with Feige and the MCU, anything's possible.
Yeah.
But they have to be able to kind of play ball. I mean, we had an Ezra Miller Flash cameo, Grant Gustin Flash cameo, so it's possible.
That was so good. That was literally like one of the most jaw-dropping moments. I was like, wait, what? I did not expect that. Like, those shows can get kind of cheesy, but I still enjoy them. I love them. But, like, that was just like a holy crap. That whole scene when they basically canonized anything that's been DC. They even canonized Green Lantern.
Yes, they did.
Like,
I mean,
you guys didn't expect to get spoilers for DC, but here we are. The Arrowverse. The last year's crossover event was nuts. Like, it was crazy. Anyways, so where were we with Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
We were talking about when Sam came in with his suit and how point on it was.
he looked so snazzy.
Oh,
He
dude.
looked so snazzy.
It was
He looked so
nice.
There's a lot of nice kind of upgrades on there.
good. Like,
Going on left knots.
Hercules.
I was kind of hoping there was going to be more. I mean, maybe we just haven't seen it, but I was hoping there would be a little bit more Wakandan tech. But at the same time, we can't have too much of that because
You can't.
Black Panther has a suit like that. Iron Man has a nanotech suit that's essentially kind of the same kind of thing. Like, it just forms around him. Spider-Man's does that. Like, we can just have everyone having a Wakanda suit.
Right. So you gotta give them something a little different.
I wonder
I
how
like
did they
the
actually
fact
make
that-
it out of vibranium, or did they use?
Oh, they did.
I would assume so. Yeah.
At least the wings, if nothing else, were vibranium.
Yeah.
He throws the shield through the window. He comes in. He hits one of the. I'm assuming one of the non-super soldiers, because the guy crumpled like a deck of cards, a house of cards. When he hit him, he's like, "Oh!"
That's from that montage training. That's what that was.
Yeah.
He
then
put the work in.
Him and back. How you say his name?
Batroc de Leper.
Backtrock. Yes, thank you.
That's wrong.
They came. They had their little fight scene in the building there, and then Sam realized, wait a minute, I don't want to fight you. I need to get out here and take care of what's going on out here. Kicks him, does something, get rid of him real quick, stole the shield out the window, and takes off out the window again. Realizes that they're trying to get the people to come outside and tells Bucky to try to keep them inside. Sharon pops in with the mesh mask Therefore, AKA not a Skrull.
Yeah.
For those who thought she was a Skrull, not a Skrull. Because why would a Skrull need that?
Yeah, Skrull could just change their appearance.
Yep.
Unless she's being double secret, you know.
And then being double secret agent?
Yeah. I'm sure he is being a double secret agent, I guess.
Possibly. Very possible, but I don't think she's a Skrull. She helps Bucky out by trying to get people away. Which, at that point, you're like, well, is she or isn't she? Is she not? Or is she? Because she's trying to help. But is that just her tactics of, hey, look, I helped. I'm doing what I need to do. Pardon me, let me back in. Matter of fact, give me back my old job so I can steal all your secrets.
Yeah, when we saw her, like, we had suspicions when she got in the car at close to the end of episode 3.
Mm-hmm.
We had some serious suspicions whenever she was on the phone with Batroc towards the end of episode 5, and then he joins the Flag Smashers.
Mm-hmm.
But then, so whatever she does in episode 6, she's already been sus enough. I mean, if you've played Among Us, you knew that she was the imposter.
Hard imposter vibes.
She was definitely the imposter. Dr. Doom, congratulations on your awakening of 5-star voodoo. Congratulations on that. So we got that going on. They do get some of the government officials loaded up into the trucks, and the Flag Smashers essentially have control of those trucks, correct?
They have 3 different transports. They have 2 police vans and 1 helicopter. The Flag Smashers are the pilot and the drivers respectively, and they're about to take them out. So Bucky and Sharon have to try to take care of the vans. Well, technically just Bucky. And Sam has to take care of that helicopter, which is one of the very much cooler moments of the entire season. I mean,
What do you want to get to first? The trucks or the helicopter scene?
I think it's best to start with the helicopters because it ends with Sam. So we can start with Sam, go back to Bucky, and John, and then it goes back to Sam. So let's start with Sam. Now, I mean, throughout this episode, it started with Sam versus some helicopters, so it's going to end with it too. Yeah. So he's doing this chase throughout New York, trying to save these people, but they're gunning at him with every chance they get. So he Red Wing's back. So not only did they give him a new suit with wings, but he's got Red Wing, and Red Wing's got a few drone friends too. But he says, Red Wing, see if anybody in the helicopter has flight training. And so Red Wing flies and is scanning everybody in there, and one of the people in there does have training with flying helicopters. So
convenient.
Totally convenient. Which kind of changes the plan. Now, this helicopter is trying to do all sorts of things to get Sam off of the trail. It tries to kind of dive bomb a NYPD chopper, which Sam ends up having to save those 2 guys. And it actually, one of the moments, he actually does get knocked off and he falls into the river. But, this is Wakanda tech, so he's able to get out of there.
Yeah.
The scene where he has to save the 2 cops, let me go to that, is a great scene. Now, Red Wing was able to save one of the cops, but he has to save the other one. And then after he saves the cop, and they're on the bridge, but the helicopter is still coming directly at him. So the wings fold over, and then he takes the shield and puts that at the top. And the helicopter, the helicopter just bounces off.
Bounces off of him.
He's like, this man doesn't have a drop of super soldier serum in his body, but he deflected the helicopter like like it was a bug on a windshield. It's like, dink, and there it goes. And this is in full view of everybody, and the crowd is clapping, and the old guy's like, "That's Black Falcon right there," and then the younger guy's like, "Nah,
he said, nah, that's Captain
that's
America.
Captain America." Chills. So anyway, he's going back to the helicopter. He decides what he's going to do. Like, he gets in contact with the GRC personnel. He's like, all right, here's what's going to happen. We're gonna count to 5. When you get to 5, you need to hop into the driver's seat. I will clear that space out for you. And so he pulls a move where he's about to intercept the helicopter, but instead of trying to take down the chopper, he throws the shield through it, which gives him a way in. And then he flies in, grabs the guy, and there's the vacant seat. And she hops into the seat and is able to fly them all to safety. He drops the guy into the river because he's got better things to do.
Yep.
So that is the helicopter scene. Captain, you want to take care of the truck scene with Bucky?
Let's see if I can remember. I haven't rewatched that episode yet, and I haven't written my notes down. But let's see. He Bucky, he's getting ready to go, and then he gets a phone call from Carly, and Carly decides she's gonna try and basically just like distract him to help the trucks get away, which she succeeds at doing. And she's just telling him, and she's trying to get him on her side again. And he's just like, look, I've gone down this route. You know, you're not doing this the right way. Just don't do this. You don't want to do this. You don't need to hurt innocent people. And she's just like, you don't understand, blah, blah, blah. And how does I can't remember exactly how he gets to the...
He pulls a Grand Theft Auto and steals that motorcycle.
That's right.
Yes.
It's a motorcycle.
And Sharon puts a bomb on one of the dudes.
Oh yeah, like he dies like sodium chloride bomb in
That's
the
right.
truck.
Yeah. She handles that guy pretty easily with that, and I was like, "Oh wow, yikes!" And then John Walker showed up too at one point.
John Walker showed up at the time of when they were in the trucks
After the trucks had stopped. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. See, I'm watching back and pulling up the episode right now. I'm just gonna.
Oh, I'm doing the same thing.
I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, mercury bomb, Xander, right.
So he's chasing them down. They're fighting. Still fighting. Then he pulls off. He's able to pull off the back. He's able to pull off one of them and get the people out. That's when John Walker shows up. And he's just like, Carly, let's do this. And that's when she tells him, like, I didn't mean to kill Lamar. And he's just like, she's like, I only kill people that matter.
Yeah. It was like...
And he's just like, oh, so he doesn't matter. Okay. It's always that last line, am I right?
It's always that last line.
Like
she messed up. Like
that would be a good callback if he had repeated that line to her. Then I think that could have been it. Then he throws the shield and she just kicks it away and it just falls. And it's like, yeah, dude, that
shield's not real.
You're gonna do something? Come on now.
That was a cosplay shield.
Yeah,
he thought it was real.
Shield. So yeah, he's getting attacked by a couple people. Bucky comes and saves him. They fall down into like this construction area.
Yep.
And skipping past the helicopter scene we already discussed about. All right, back to the episode. Just speed watching episodes right here, guys. Yeah, they're still fighting. More fighting. Carly is kind of kicking his butt, but he's also kind of holding his own now because he's
got the super soldier.
The super soldier.
He's not completely worthless.
Yeah, in that scene though, he's not really using the shield as much, I guess, because he kind of realized like, okay, this shield kind of sucks, but I'm still gonna hold it for appearance.
I love the Foley artists in this episode. They made that shield sound like a trash can lid. It was like all of a sudden Oscar the Grouch thought he was a super soldier. you imagine him on Sesame Street. He's like, I'm Captain America.
Yeah.
I love trash.
Yeah. And then like the last remaining truck is about to like go over the edge, and John Walker's actually like trying to save it.
Like you can see morally in his head, he's like, what decision do I?
Yeah, because Carly runs out the other way. The truck's about to fall. He's like, do I go after Carly or do I save the people? And in this moment, he actually makes the right decision. He tries to save the people. He fails, but he tries.
It's a good redemption moment.
Yeah.
Right there. Like, that was the right call. That was the call that the real Captain America would have made.
Exactly. But unfortunately, he just, knockoff Cap. So it's Walmart Cap. So it didn't work out. Then Sam shows up and saves the day, pulls it up,
Yep.
and then we get the big Sam speech in front of the news.
No, not that point yet.
Not that point yet. Nope.
Oh wait, not yet. Okay.
Sam goes after Carly. Now, the Flag Smashers are kind of spread out. There's like the three, and then there's Carly, and then we hear that iconic that we've been hearing throughout every single episode.
For the Flag Smashers, yeah.
Exactly. And it turns out it was Sharon bringing Carly into a secluded area because Sharon, we now find out 100% is the power broker.
Yeah.
Big surprise. And that's when Batroc finds out that Sharon's the power broker. He's like, okay, you're going to pay me 4 times what you said you were, so I won't tell anybody you are the power broker. That's a horrible thing.
That's well, crap. 2 people.
So this
And she's like, I don't like blackmail.
Pow.
Pow.
Takes him out.
Like,
And in the process,
takes
she
him
shot
out.
herself.
She does. Carly shoots her. And then that's when Sam shows up. We see a dead Batroc. We see a shot Sharon Carter. And we see a Carly with a gun in her hand.
What
would you think?
Why did Carly shoot her if she decided to shoot Batroc? Like, why did Carly feel like she needed to shoot? Maybe she thought she was gonna turn and shoot her next, I guess.
Probably.
I think so.
Guess.
That's what I would have thought.
That was her opportunity to get away. So I'm gonna shoot. While you shoot him, I'm gonna shoot you.
Yeah. Also, why would you choose to shoot the person that's not a super soldier first? I guess he did have a gun, but he was aiming the gun at her, at Carly. I don't know. Then Sam shows up, and Carly's holding her gun at Sharon, and they have a little bit of a fight.
Well, Carly fights Sam. Sam is defending.
I'm not gonna fight you, and she's yelling like, "Fight back! Fight back!"
Yeah.
It's like, damn, I ain't gonna do that. Oh yeah, then Bucky and John Walker trick the other Flag Smashers using the app to catch them.
A little anticlimactic, but we're getting a lot of action.
Yeah, that was
kind
of
using technology.
Yeah,
old man using technology.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how you get text on your laptop. Huh. Bucky approves.
Yeah. Sharon shoots Carly. Carly dies. Then Sam carries her out.
Sharon carries her out. Comes down like this majestic wing,
looking like an angel.
Yeah.
Then we get the big speech.
Yep. Where Sam is like, you guys are giving these labels out, refugee, terrorist, thug, and you're not actually asking why they're doing what they're doing. And you have all the power to make all these changes, but instead of making, set changes, you want things to go back to the way that they were. Maybe they didn't work back the way that they were. And maybe instead of, making the choices that could bring about positive change for everybody, you're only doing the changes that will help you. Like all of these changes that you can make, are they going to be helping everybody that it would affect, or are you just talking to the people that are in the same room on the same level as you? It was I really liked that speech.
Yeah.
It definitely reminded me of the speeches that Chris Evans's Cap would give in Winter Soldier, and he always knew what to say in the situations. It was.
And it was in that moment when they show John Walker, and he's looking at him, he's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's Captain America. I get it. And then Bucky just being approving in the background, just like, there we go.
There we go. That's what we.
That's
exactly.
That's my guy.
That's my guy.
I think when it panned to John Walker, he said, I can feel the hate from so many people when I'm wearing this suit. It doesn't matter what I do. People are going to just hate me because I've got it on. And that's when it panned to John. And John's like,
literally, yeah. That was literally his character from day one, as we said. He showed up on screen and we were all like, screw this guy. We were getting the pitchforks ready and everything.
So that was the big speech in front of everybody. And
obviously,
that's
Isaiah
when
Bradley saw it too.
oh, yeah. Isaiah Bradley was watching it, and he was like, well, I'll be. They did let a black man be Captain America.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the end of the action.
End of the action part,
There was
right?
still one more thing, though. The remaining Flag Smashers, as they're escaping, all of a sudden, it go boom, and then it flashes to Zemo.
It flashes to the
That's
butler
Raft.
first. The
The
butler
the
did
Butler
it.
first,
Butler did
then the Raft, which is where Zemo is. Which that was the other thing too. That when the Wakandans took him, I was a little shocked that they were taking him to the Raft and they weren't going to take him themselves. Which, yeah, I don't know. I definitely think a lot in this series is setting up for the Thunderbolts, though.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you already
that's
got
where I think
you got two main characters already.
The character from Seinfeld, Valentina or whatever, I think she might have a hand in forming the Thunderbolts, because I think she probably works for Thunderbolt Ross, who is in charge of the Raft, which is where we have
somebody is having an argument in the chat. Fail Gaming is saying they should have been called terrorists and thugs, and I think that label may be appropriate for the Flag Smashers, but they're talking about like the 500 million people that went to other places, and those people were being called refugees and terrorists and things like that. And those people getting displaced when they hadn't done anything wrong, those were the people that Carly was trying to fight for. So I think that calling everybody that migrated those labels is what Sam was saying was wrong. So I can understand kind of labeling those 5 to 7 people as terrorists, but that was a label that was being blanketed across, almost half a billion people. So just to kind of clear it up, no harm done. Everybody, trust me, I forgot that the shield got broken in Endgame, so everybody makes mistakes.
Anything this guy says seriously. Am I right?
Accelerate Khan.
Like, how could you?
What's going on?
Wait, Thanos died?
Wait a minute, Thanos is not here no more? No.
Thanos was in the MCU? When did that happen?
I forgot all about that. I forgot he was there. I just thought he was like, it was a Fortnite cameo.
Then we get after the Flag Smashers blow up, we get the scene of John Walker becoming U.S. agent.
Yep, he gets his black suit,
and then she also drops a hint there that she may have had a hand in
blowing up
those guys getting blown up too, which is like, okay, this chick's clearly, playing both sides or on the bad side because I guess the Thunderbolts, I feel like I don't know a lot about them, but from what it sounds like, they're a group of villains that they come up to become a superhero group.
It's basically like a Suicide Squad.
The
Suicide Squad of Marvel.
Minus the bombs in their head, so.
Right.
We got him as that. And then after that, Bucky goes and finally tells Mr. Nakajima the truth.
Yeah.
Very heartfelt scene.
There was a scene that kind of played off in episode 5 when they were, tossing the shield around, and Sam said, "Do you mind if I give you some advice?" He said, "All of these things that you're trying to do, you're trying to do these things to make yourself feel better. What you need to do is give something that makes the other person feel better, because that's where the real work comes in." So he hadn't told Yuri Nakajima about his son because, of how it would make him feel. But that was the hard work that Sam was talking about.
Yep.
So he finally reveals to him what happened in what could have been a very powerful moment that was shown very poorly. I feel like that part of the storytelling process, there was more that we could have seen. There was more that could have been shown, and unfortunately, we weren't. I wish that they had, and they didn't even have to explore it. They didn't have to, they could have just had the dialogue. They could have had Yuri being explosively angry at Bucky. But, I feel like it was very, we raced through that scene. And that was a powerful moment that we missed.
Yeah.
And it does show.
I mean, they could have took about 10 more minutes and did that more properly.
Not even 10. They could have done one more minute in just 1 minute. Do you know how long 60 seconds is? Like, it is a super long time. But in that 1 minute, they could have shown so much more than what they did. Like, it was completely raced through. I'm not going to say it was the weakest part of the show, but it was definitely one of the poor elements of storytelling.
Yep.
And then after that, what happens after that?
We get
the
Sam talks with Isaiah.
Oh, yeah, he talks to Isaiah, and
then at the end, they reveal that he has a section in the Captain America section now in the
museum.
Or some museum. That's
Yeah.
what I was looking for. Jeez. It's like, what is this word?
And so now everybody will know of Isaiah's contribution to America, and more importantly, to how the legacy of Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a good moment. In fact,
yeah, I
would
that.
say all of the moments with Isaiah Bradley were very good. They all had something to say, and it was a lot of what it had to say was about the legacy of America, about how this man got the short end of the stick, even though he had the same exact abilities as this other guy, how he was treated, especially when he was jailed for saving lives. Like, quite literally, he was thrown in jail for 30 years for saving people's lives, and how they treated him versus how they treat, this other man who also disobeyed orders, crossed enemy lines, and saved people's lives. There is a huge divide there.
Well, there even is, if you look at it too, there's even John Walker literally kills this dude in front of everyone, and then they just strip him of the title. Like,
they're like, there you go, John.
That had to be another slap in the face. Now, maybe they're just like, oh, well, this guy was technically a terrorist, but still, it doesn't, like, the dude, he was unarmed. I mean, he's a super soldier. I guess you can't really say he's unarmed. It's different. But
yeah,
it's like that was one of the parts too. I was just like, dang, yeah, I'm sure that didn't make Isaiah Bradley feel any better.
No. But yeah, every single Isaiah Bradley scene was very strong and powerful.
Yeah, really good.
And he actually grows, even though I think his growth is still a little measured. Like, he doesn't 100% believe that, America's, gone through this whole metamorphosis. Right. But there's been enough of a change that people will accept Black people as equals. They'll accept a Black Captain America, and I think Marvel probably was a little bit hesitant to make Sam Captain America in the comics, but they did it, and I regret to say that I didn't read those comics. That was after I had stopped reading. I think the last big story that I read was Bucky, I believe, was Captain America at the time. So I hadn't gotten into any Falcon Captain America comics. But it's always kind of like this, they want to tell a story. Is it going to be well received? Is it going to make sense? Like, because I remember when they turned Cap into a sleeper Hydra agent, everybody was mad. It made Yahoo News front page. But I think it was a very important conversation to have. I think that the character, the introduction of Isaiah Bradley into the MCU at this time was very important because every time he's on screen, he has something important to say that transcends a fictional story that actually delves into real life. And so
he did
that's
a really
why
good job of showing the emotion too, of like how you could really feel like how much of his life was taken away from him, and how much pain he went through.
Yep.
So, and then after that scene, then we get the cookout. Now,
Yep.
is Sarah about to get down with some Bucky? I'm not going to say yes. I'm also not going to say no. I mean, he's not only invited at the cookout, he showed up.
Yeah.
And they like him.
I like how in the scene where he's holding his arm out and all the kids are hanging off, and he's just like, just chilling.
I mean,
talking to her, and all the kids are just hanging on his arm.
I mean, who knows? Sam and Bucky might be brothers-in-law in a little bit of time after a while. I mean,
over Sam's dead body.
I think the only thing that Sam would be like, kind of like hesitant about, Bucky is 106 years old. So I mean, he's like,
yeah.
He's like, Sarah, are you just getting after him after his Social Security money? Just tell me. I won't say nothing.
Tell me now.
Tell me now.
Get in front of this before it comes to light.
And then that's when Sarah says, look, he may be 106 years old, but he got that super soldier serum in his system. So, okay, man can throw down. And he's like, la, la, la.
We going to have some super
Don't want to know that.
I don't want to know that.
Time for some super babies.
Some super babies. Oh, my God.
Well, that's a wrap. Yeah, I'll say
that's a wrap.
End credit
I would
scene.
say that is end credit scene.
End credits.
With the exception of one end credit scene.
Yeah.
Sharon comes,
Carter
gets her pardon. She walks out. She's like, they give her her old job back, and then the first thing she does is she walks out and says, makes a phone call, says, hey, we don't have any more super soldiers, but I got something much better coming. We now have all the secrets, weapons, and everything like that. Who did she make that call to?
Who was she talking?
There's been rumors that it was Norman Osborn. Could it be the actual power broker that she was speaking to?
And maybe she was posing as the power broker.
Posing as a power broker?
Or
the actual power broker she was speaking
Thaddeus
to?
Ross?
No, because Thaddeus Ross is Secretary of Defense, so he wouldn't need that.
I guess, sure.
I always like to shoot for the rafters. I say it's Victor Von Doom. Let me
I
just
would love that.
Victor
Okay, there was
Von Doom.
There was another theory that with so the episode where they're talking about with Zemo and he's talking about Sokovia and how Sokovia's it's no more and it's actually been absorbed by the countries around it. Mm-hmm. Someone theorized that maybe one of those surrounding countries is Latveria.
Yep.
And he took over more of Sokovia so that he could have a bigger empire.
It's definitely possible. I like that theory.
Or, hear me out, it could be Mephisto.
Everything comes back
to Mephisto. I had to throw that in there.
It's always Mephisto.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so there have been questions about the upcoming Loki show, which doesn't come out till
June something.
July?
Is it June or July?
I think it's July.
I know the Black Widow movie's in July.
It comes out after that, if I'm not mistaken.
Black Widow's movie is in June. Wait a minute.
Black Widow's July. Black Widow's July 9th.
July 9th.
It's July 9th now? Okay.
They just released a trailer showing the release date was July 9th.
And Loki.
Okay, so
it was supposed to be June.
And Loki's June.
Yeah.
11th. Yeah, so they switched them, I think. Loki's June 11th. Captain Marvel. What am I going off about?
Oh,
yikes. All right, that's my cue to leave, guys. I've lost all credibility. Black Widow is July 9th.
Okay.
And her movie is the place in between Endgame and Infinity Wars?
No, between Civil War and Infinity War.
Is it between Civil War and Infinity War?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Loki. It's not the thing that I'm looking the most forward to. We had that conversation the last time we were here, and I said that I was looking forward to What If the most.
Yes. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Loki. I think it'll be fun to see him going around the time and just pretending to be people and messing with stuff and all that's gonna happen there. The Black Widow movie should be good. Spider-Man comes out at the end of this year too, right?
End of the year too. Yep.
If it hasn't been pushed back, then yes, No Way Home comes out. I have been looking for this is my 10 out of 10. Like every single year, a comic book movie comes out and it gets like my 10 out of 10, thing that I'm looking forward to the most. And Spider-Man No Way Home is that movie. Like I think they're going to do so many things right with this. I mean, they've already announced that there's going to be either some flashbacks or some crossovers dealing with previous characters that we've seen in different Spider-Man
Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire.
But the thing is, they've only been like hinted at. I don't think that they've been 100% confirmed. But Jamie Foxx has been 100% confirmed. Alfred Molina has been 100% confirmed, and it is like confirmed that they're representing the characters that they played in their Spider-Man 2 movies, respectively. Amazing.
I've heard rumors of Daredevil as well, right? Is that
I've heard rumors that not only Daredevil, but that Charlie Cox.
Charlie Cox
is coming back. And that has been super exciting. Like this has the potential to just blow everything that we've seen from Spider-Man wide open. And that Spider-Verse,
it's literally everything I asked for when like the first Spider-Man movie came out with Tom Holland. Or it might have been around when like Spider-Man Miles Morales came out. They were doing their whole multiverse thing, and I was just like, I've been saying for a long time, I want a live action Spider-Verse with all three Spider-Man characters, like actors. If they could all somehow agree to come back and do it, I thought it would have been great. And it's looking like it's actually happening. So I cannot wait.
I do want those three. I want there to be at least 5 Spider-Man that come together. In that sense, I say at least 5. So I want Miles Morales to be there, and I want him to be like a new version. Like even if this is a Miles from this particular MCU universe, I want Miles there. And then I also want, in the same vein as Spider-Verse, I want Gwen Stacy's to be there. I want her to be from a completely different universe than the other ones, but I still want her to be played by the Gwen Stacy from the Amazing Spider-Man movies.
Well, that she would be from a different universe at that point, right?
Oh, so
yes, she would.
Want it to be Emma Stone?
I do want Emma Stone.
I would love it if Emma Stone came. Yes.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
I'm salivating over that because with them announcing Jamie Foxx and Alfred Molina, nothing is off the table. I mean, quite literally. So there are plenty of directions that they can go, and even though those 3, Tom, Andrew, and Toby, I want there to be more than just those 3.
Mm-hmm. My cat's open. My door. I have to go shut it.
So yeah, that's my number 1 movie that I'm looking forward to this year. I'll enjoy Black Widow. I'll enjoy Shang-Chi. If Eternals gets pushed back into next year, I'll enjoy that when it comes out. But man, that's Spider-Man. That's the one.
It's gonna be a big one.
Honey, do you have a Spider-Man shirt? Oh no, we got to get you a new Spider-Man shirt.
Somebody's a Spider-Man fan over here.
Well, so my wife, she has some nerdy shirts, but they're shirts that I get her. So she's got like a really cool Rogue shirt that she wore today, and she's got it's a Rogue shirt that's a combination of the Rosie the Riveter shirt. So it's like Rogue, and she's got her fist up but she says, what does she say? I did it. Yeah, it says "I did it," which is a quote from the X-Men versus Street Fighter games. And then I've got her a Storm shirt that it says Storm, Mistress of the Elements. So it's like a She-Ra crossover shirt. And then there's another shirt that I've got her that's like a Black Panther shirt, but it's like Shuri, Okoye, and Nakia shirt, but they're like done in the style of Powerpuff Girls.
Nice.
So I get her the nerd shirts. We've got to find her a good Spider-Man shirt.
Oh yeah.
All right, so just reading some stuff from the chat that we've been missing. Let's see. Can't wait to see Toby as Spider-Man again. Mike Middleton says, I don't know, man. With all the Spider-Man timelines and different characters and rumors, it could be horrible if not done right. I agree with that.
I feel like as long as Kevin Feige and Marvel is involved, that I have faith in them.
Yeah. Xander Scar says, I refuse to believe that Tobey Maguire isn't going to be in this third film. And then he also says Miles buff in December.
It might be.
Maybe. We
Maybe.
never thought that
Miles
Marvel
Morales
could pull
sucks
off
in
Infinity
MCOC.
Wars, but they did. I think it will be done right, Phil Gaming says. There was also rumors that Emma Stone and Kirsten Dunst could be coming back too. Please, they can leave Kirsten Dunst where she was and bring in somebody else to play MJ.
Oh my god! If she comes back, all they're gonna do is make her scream throughout the entire movie again. I mean, that's all she did in the first three.
Yeah.
Spider-Pig. Yeah, Spider-Pig could make a cameo. Pedro Khan, nice call with Emma Stone. That would be cool to see. I'm a huge Gwen Stacy fan. Yeah. We can't rely on Sony, but as long as Marvel Studios is involved, then we're safe, Phil Gaming says. There you go. Well, I'm still looking forward to everything. Spider-Man is probably the one I'm looking forward to the most. Especially after Far From Home. I really thought that Tom Holland did a really good job in the second one. Not only not that Peter Parker's version, learning not only how to become the hero, but what it takes to be that hero and understand the responsibilities that were given to him at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the most important thing that this new Spider-Man movie needs to do is it needs to establish a villain that is after him. All we've had so far from every Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland is after Tony that has a beef with Tony. We need a true blue Spider-Man villain that has his sights set on Spider-Man.
That's kind of been the theme for a lot of the whole phase 1, 2, and 3 for the MCU is that a lot of the villains have been created essentially because of Tony Stark.
Right.
Yeah.
Like every single Avengers one almost. Outside of, I guess, Loki, probably not. But he does use his tower as part of it. But Ultron was his fault.
Was his creation.
So, he said both Spider-Man villains. Obviously, the Iron Man movies. So, it's a lot that's been his doing. So, yeah, it'd be nice if it's actually someone that's coming after Peter Parker now for whatever reason. Or Spider-Man.
Hold up. I have to address this. Fail Gaming, J. Jonah Jameson is a GD treasure. We do not attack J. Jonah Jameson. I don't care if he thinks that Spider-Man is a menace. J. Jonah Jameson is one of the most amazing characters created in comic books that has no powers, no suits, and is just absolutely awesome. So we do not attack JJ.
Don't come at JJ.
Don't come at JJ. You can come for Aunt May. Shoot, you can kill Aunt May for all I care.
Don't take that away
don't
from
come
Uncle
for
Ben.
JJ.
That's his thing.
Did you not play? Oh, never mind. That's a spoiler. I won't say it.
Are you going to say the Miles
I won't
Morales
say
game?
No, not the Miles Morales game, but I was going to say the Spider-Man game.
Did play the Spider-Man game.
Like,
Let's
yeah, the
see.
one that came before.
Yeah.
That's a spoiler. I'm not going to say it.
Mike Middleton says, one problem with the Doctor Doom theory. Would Ghost Dog allow someone else to use a Doom as he has them all? I can't win, man. I can't win.
To be fair, I let him play with it when I had him first. So
There you go. See, there are other people who have ahead of me who've owned this character before me, but for some reason I get singled out. But it's okay. It's okay. Well, I've done like 3 runs through ROL. What's going on, Chi? How we doing? Taz? Yeah, you missed the whole combo.
yeah, we just
We're wrapping.
pretty much
3
finished.
hours.
Yeah, we're 3 hours in.
We've been chilling for a while. Which is weird because this had less episodes actually than WandaVision.
Yes,
But there was so much.
but
to
it was
unpack in
they
there.
were longer. They were longer episodes.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think the runtime was about the same. It's just less episodes, and it took them 25 million per episode to do.
Yeah.
What?
25 million per episode.
Oh really?
Dang.
I didn't hear that. I hadn't heard that.
That's the whole Terminator 2.
So that's the production value that went into those TV shows.
Well, I will say that I saw it in the opening scene of episode 1 where Sam is like flying through
Yeah.
Yep.
Tunisia. And
Yep.
yeah, that looked like it was like made for the movies. Like
Yeah,
that did
it
not
felt
look
like that's it.
It felt
Instantly,
like the
you
movies.
felt like you're back in the MCU. Whereas
So
like
I
WandaVision,
kinda
you watched
hope-
that like took about 3 episodes before you're just like,
Okay.
did I start something different? Did I start the wrong series? Like, wait a second, hold on.
Yeah. So we got. I'm hoping that Loki brings some of the same energy.
Yeah,
As you say, keep that energy, Disney. Keep that energy. We got Black Widow coming out. As much as I am not the hugest Black Widow fan, I am looking forward to hopefully getting back into the theater to see this.
Yeah,
looking forward to watching Natasha Romanoff, aka Scarlett Johansson, for multiple hours.
Here's the
I'm
question:
not mad about that.
Are you watching it on Disney Plus and paying the $30, or are you actually going to the movies?
See, I actually
Yes.
went to a movie this last week. I went and saw Mortal Kombat in theaters.
Okay.
So that might be one that I will want to go see in a theater, probably. Because it'll actually be cheaper. 'Cause
Yeah.
What is it, like
No
$30?
It's
Like,
$30.
and whereas where I can just wait and it'll be eventually be free on Disney Plus because Mulan is now free. I'm sure that what is it? Raya the Last Dragon or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's been the newest one that's a premium access one. And I don't know if it's been officially released yet, but it'll be just released for free eventually. So it's like I can pay a third the cost and just go see it in the theater since theaters around me are actually open. And yeah, I don't have to pay extra for it. So I'll probably see it in theater.
Okay.
Seeing
Or if you
Mortal
go
Kombat
out-
made less sense since I get it for free on HBO Max, but my buddies all wanted to go see it in person. I'm like, it's like I've never played the games, never watched the old movies. Like I don't really care, but if you guys want to go see it in theater, we'll go see it in theater. So I really liked that movie though. It was good.
Good. All right, guys. Well, I think, like I said, a little over 3 hours. I think we've covered it all. We are going to try to do this again for Loki when it comes out. So I will be in touch with Cameron and Captain Bay again at the end of that series.
I'll be
So
doing
you
my
guys-
watch parties.
Yep, he'll be doing his watch parties on the Thursday night, going into the Friday morning when it gets launched. So if you guys want to join him there on his channel, his link is in the description below.
My description is in the link.
His description is in the link. And then Cameron, if you want to follow up on his reviews after you watch that, you can catch him. His link is also in the description below. You can catch him there, usually Friday after, sometime in the morning, or late morning, early afternoon.
I
for
try
the
to get
most
it
part.
out that time.
Yeah. He tries to get most of them out around that time. Every now and then it might be a little bit later. But for the majority part, they're right around that time. And then I only cover the rap show. So come here for your rap show. And we get back here, we talk about it, and just really try to break down some comic book stuff, which is what Cameron's is probably more here for. I think Captain Bay has some comic book background, and I'm all about just the movies.
I'm just here to BS and act like I know what I'm talking about. Honestly,
I'm just here all about the movies and TV
I
shows.
wing it. Like,
You take notes. You take notes.
I take notes.
You don't
Yeah,
wing
Captain
it.
Bay takes notes and keeps us from winging it completely.
true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that is going to be it. I thank everybody for joining us today. We had a pretty consistent crowd in here,
Yeah.
off and on throughout. So I really do appreciate you guys. And feel free to drop questions in our chats, in our live streams, on our videos about stuff like this, and we'll be glad to answer those. So until after Loki, I got my man Captain Bay.
Thank
I got
you
my
for having
guy
me.
Cameron. And I appreciate you both. All right, guys. That's going to be it. Later.
All right.
Peace.